with us. Bill Schmidt.
This is the greatest challenge you can take.
Armin Sarya.
Your name is never going to be hotter than it is right now.
This is No BS. No BS is presented by Screamin' Sicilian Premium Craft Frozen Pizza. Find it in your local grocer's freezer and taste what all the screaming is about. Welcome to No BS with Bill Schmidt and Armin Sarya.
It's No BS on the game. Welcome in, welcome all. 877-794-1973. Wide Open Wednesday starts now on the game. I'm Billy Schmidt alongside my main man, Armin Sarian. On the other side of the glass is Dave Gasper in plenty of room to be stretching out.
Got room back there.
No
Let me tell
knees
you.
in the exit row, and we're ready to rock the rivers and shake the lakes for the next 3 hours. And a little bit of change as we will hand it off to the Mike Heller Show after the noon hour here today down in Arizona at American Family Fields of Phoenix. We're going to hear a little bit of his conversation yesterday that he had down at American Family Fields of Phoenix with the decision maker, the lead decision maker for your Milwaukee Brewers, Matt Arnold, in the second hour. Armin, I know you were in here yesterday loving some of that conversation he was able to have with Matt Arnold. We're going to bring some of those highlights coming up right after 10 o'clock.
It was nice. It was not only, great to have Matt on with
super
Mike.
Relaxed in the setting, which was so very, very nice.
Yeah, the setting was relaxed. He was, it was kind of more like a podcast setting. He was open
for sure.
And the thing was, it was long. It was nice and long. So, kudos to Mike for getting it. Kudos to Matt for giving up that much of his time. I mean, obviously, this is times in a premium, but maybe not so much right now, or maybe so. I mean, there's a lot of decisions to be made all the time for him and a lot of work to be done.
That's a great point. What is the balancing act of if this is a busy time or if this is the least busy time, right? Because now the decisions haven't been made, but now you're just letting it all play out.
That's true. And you do think of
a little bit of hay in the barn, so to speak, at this point.
Yeah, although the Brewers have had decisions to make here on personnel and one
made a big one yesterday.
Right, obviously. So it's hard for anyone to say if they're not in his seat and not sitting in his pants. That's a weird way to say it.
Yeah.
Okay, they're not standing in his shoes. How about that?
A little better. Yeah.
What's busy and what's not? I'm sure he'd tell you it's a 24-hour job, day job all the time. However, maybe it's a little more relaxed during spring, but maybe it's not. Maybe once the season starts, the hay is in the barn and now you're working, then you get closer to the deadline and stuff like that. So,
well, Brewers made a big decision yesterday. That they made public. Pat Murphy making it that it is going to be Joey Ortiz going over to shortstop, not Bryce Terang. Part of that because of an injury going on with Bryce Terang. We'll hear a little bit more of that coming up at 10 o'clock. But for the Milwaukee Brewers, they're getting ready to head north in a couple of weeks. And we are going to head to Denver, talk to Matt LePay in the second hour of the program as well after we hear some of Matt Arnold. And in about 20 minutes from right now, voice of the Green Bay Packers, Wayne Larrivee, going to stop onto this program, talk some, obviously, Packers football. They make a move yesterday. Hey, ladies and gentlemen, we got him. Mecole Hardman into the fold for the 2025 season. Let me run through some numbers here on the Packers' newest wide receiver, and Josh Jacobs finally gets what he asked for in a number one receiver, right? Mecole Hardman, 27 years of age, signed to a one-year deal yesterday.
Young, prime.
Played 12 games in 2024.
Okay, so did T. Higgins.
Amassed 12 catches.
He got more.
Averaged, 10.2 punt yards per return. That was good for 12th in football. Hasn't played 17 games since the 2021 season. However, has won and caught the game-winning touchdown in a Super Bowl in between that time. So, you have that in there. Did have one 100-yard game in his career. That came back in 2021. So the highlights are far ago for one Mecole Hardman. He has been a little bit of a punching bag with some jokes as well in that time. Not Kadarius Toney, not T. Higgins. That's a very different broad spectrum, maybe closer to the first than the second. But Armin, it's a depth piece that the Packers end up bringing in, and maybe it tells us a little bit more about a different position than the wide receiver one.
I totally agree. Like, this is a depth piece. Obviously, it's there I think, to bolster special teams, and I think our special teams got better yesterday. I think, you talk about 12th. I mean, I think there's some days we'd take 12th. There are some days I'll be happy to not have a guy fair catch on the 5-yard line. There's going to be times I'm going to be happy not to hold my breath for a fumble every time. If Mecole Hardman can shore up the return game and help every now and then in the receiving game in certain packages, we know he has some skills that can be utilized, namely speed, namely that type of ability, to elusive ability. then I think it could be a good pickup that could help the Packers. Is it going to blow everybody away? No. Is it going to be, poor McCole Hardman has to be the guy, you got the book under the tree instead of the new, the new radio, the new stereo.
It does feel like a Magic Treehouse book under the tree instead of thinking that you were going to get a toy. Yes,
and if you wanted the other toy, you're always going to think a certain way about the Magic Treehouse book. But that's not McCole Hardman's fault. I think he's going to come in and help the team. Was it going to blow us away? No. But hey, Monte Ellis said, I'm Dwayne Wade. The only difference is he's got more stats, more championships, and more
an
everything
MVP.
else.
Yeah. Otherwise, I got everything for it.
You brought T. Higgins. They played the same amount of games. The only thing T. Higgins is got more money, more catches, more touchdowns, more everything. Other than that, they're the same guy. That's a joke, obviously. Listen, McCole Hardman is there as a special teams piece first and foremost. I understand. Yesterday when I tweet the Packers got the receiver, everyone's like, "Oh, he's just a return man." Well, what are you talking about? I understand. Yeah, the Packers didn't blow everybody away with the big free agent signing with this, but around the margins, these are the type of moves you try to make to improve your team, and that might be one of them. Hopefully, he overperforms, stays healthy, and we're sitting around in November, December saying, boy, where would we be on special teams without McCole Hardman? Or McCole Hardman made this play, and this play in these certain games in this third down that really helped us win. I think that's what you hope for.
Yeah, and Pogo from Clinton, number one receiver, never has been, never will be. What are you smoking, Billy? Maybe if you could have listened to the rest of the context there, you'd realize that was tongue firmly planted in cheek.
Right.
Everybody understands that. However, he's got more 100-yard games in his career than Romeo Doubs does. Like, I mean, you can start stacking it up with their receiving core doesn't have any real pelts on the wall, and maybe McCole Hardman doesn't have a ton. He's been on championship teams. He's seen what that's like. He's definitely seen what it doesn't look like, right? He was in New York for a short period of time a year ago. He's had some disappointing stops over the last number of years, no doubt about it. But you're exactly right. It's a depth piece. I think the most important piece of the signing, and this is where I think it ends up playing more of a part on a different position than the wide receiver room. This signifies that McCole Hardman most likely is going to be your punt and kick returner. And more than Jaden Reed, which I saw some people say takes him off of punt return duties, I think this might also take Keyshawn Nixon off of kick return duties, right? Like, I mean, if Keyshawn Nixon wants to be number one corner, he's not going to be returning kicks. And McCole Hardman could very much be the kick return, punt return specialist, gadget guy into the offensive game. Little Swerve and Irvin from a couple of years ago, hopefully a little bit more productive, a little bit better situation than that.
Yeah,
but
more.
I think what this ends up to me pointing out is Keyshawn Nixon is going to play defense.
That's a good point.
He ain't going to be returning kicks and punts anymore. Jaden Reed's not going to be returning punts anymore. If the Packers can have their druthers, it's going to be McCole Hardman handling those duties, both sides, for the foreseeable future for all of 2025, and keep those guys isolated into their own two spots, worried about catching footballs and third downs, and worried about shutting down number one, number two receivers on the defensive side.
Yeah, I think there's an idea that, we want to make Jaden Reed and Keyshawn Nixon better at their positions, so you give them the total focus to play those positions. I would say that that's part of that, no doubt about it. Now, it's tough sometimes because you think of the great moments Keyshawn Nixon has on special teams. I mean, he has had some really good ones. So you think,
big time.
All
big
right.
Time, yeah.
So are you okay with doing that? Like, was that part of his value? Maybe so. But if you can replace him with an equally good returner and let him focus on that position, which is going to be important because we don't know what's going to happen in the draft. But the Packers, did make the move with Hobbs, but it's not like they got crazy demonstrably better in the outsides and cornerback.
Yeah.
So
fair.
it's like he's going to have a good year if the Packers are going to do what they want to do. Maybe that's important. The other thing about McCole Hardman is he does have the speed still. I mean, we haven't seen it since his rookie year when he was second team All-Pro, but he does have some big playability if he gets some open field. I'm not saying that he's going to be doing that every game. I'm not saying he's going to change his season necessarily, but big plays are at a premium now in offenses in football, and you're looking for big play guys or guys that have the potential to be explosive, and that speed could be a thing every now and then that gives you a chance to make explosive plays out of something, which is really what sets teams apart offensively these days. Maybe if you look at the stats and the margins.
This one pushes a Bo Melton more than it does a Dontavian Wicks or a Jaden Reed, right? Like we were looking for some kind of field stretcher because the guy that has the numbers to back up being in the conversation for the number one spot, you're not going to see for probably the first 12, 13 weeks in Christian Watson.
Right.
We already know that part of the game is out. Last year, one of the reasons why, while John and I were sitting in that beautiful perch at Ray Nitschke Field before training camp practices and during practices every single day. We're trying to figure out how on earth are you going to keep Bo Melton, Grant Dubose, right? How do we keep all of these wide receivers? You're looking for a field stretcher on the second level, right?
Yeah.
Or on the second team, so to speak, in that. And I think that's where Mecole Hardman is going to find his path to prominence on the roster. But I think he's going to have a chance, right? Like, I mean, the more and more you think about it and look back into Matt LaFleur's time in Green Bay, man, he's wanted to give Tyler Ervin a couple of chances with the football. He wanted to try to find Tavon Austin chances with the football, as I saw somebody bring up and tie that name together. There's a spot for him on the team. This isn't going to be the one that blows anybody away. However, it's a much more Packers move. Take a shot at upside,
Sure.
then take a swing for a much higher financial price on somebody who does have much more accomplished in the NFL, but you're definitely paying for past performance.
Yeah, and
You're
Hardman's
paying for past performance here, but you feel like you got a better shot at upside on the financial balance than you do paying $8 million for an Amari Cooper.
Yeah, you're paying a lot less. Right. That's the thing. He's cheaper. Like that's and the Packers like to use, namely it was Jaden Reed a lot. They like to use those guys in the run game. The Packers offense does a lot of that. And Mecole Hardman, you know, he averaged 12 yards a carry last year. Didn't do it a lot, 5 attempts for 62 yards, but that's maybe an ability he has as well that the Packers might try to utilize a little bit, is that speed in the running game, or at least, you know, Billy, you saw it a lot. Even though if Christian Watson didn't have the numbers, target, receiving, those type of numbers, the analytics always showed that almost every part of the offense is more productive with him on the field. You know, so just even him faking the jet sweeps with Watson, even him being on the field, held the linebackers more, things like that. Maybe they try and get a little bit of that advantage as well with Hardman in the run game, or at least in the offense. The illusion of complexity is what I think Matt LaFleur said once years ago. So that might be part of it as well. Primarily, yes, he's cheaper and he's a return guy, and that's where you hope to get better.
B in Burlington said, agreed, Billy. Hardman strictly special teams, maybe some end arounds here and there.
Sure.
Nixon full-time corner, and we know how much Matt LaFleur loves end arounds. Now, does this take the ball out of Jaden Reed's hands on some of those end arounds where people super special 3rd and 3 end around against the Chicago Bears? People lost their absolute minds.
I think you can use him still because I think he's effective, but I think he got beat up a lot doing that, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
I think he got beat up a lot, and I think I always would kind of hold my breath. Like, is Jaden going to be hurt because he's doing this a lot more, or he's going to fumble? I don't want that either. And maybe that has an effect on what he can do in the pass game. I don't know if it's corollary or not, Billy. You know, correlation does not equal causation, but the targets, the numbers, all went down.
Yes.
It all went down later in the year. I'm not saying he got worn down. Maybe that's part of it. I don't know. You throw another body in there that can do what Jaden can do. Obviously, Jaden's fast, elusive. So is Mecole Hardman. I think that's the one thing you can say about him. He's got the speed, the elusiveness, if you can get him out there. So I think you at least mix him in for more of that stuff and see how he reacts. We're going to probably know more this spring, this summer.
We'll see how they're
about how it
mixing
shakes
him
out.
in. Yep. I'm also excited just because Clutch Gene caught that pass from Patrick Mahomes, won the Super Bowl.
He did. He didn't drop it.
They won the Super Bowl.
Hey, he won the Super Bowl. He listen. He lived.
So
every
715. Does Mecole Hardman put you over the top? No, he doesn't. Max 1 playoff win next year.
Yeah, but I don't think you weren't getting anybody.
Are you finding somebody that's going to help you
push
get
over the hump? There wasn't
anyone.
anyone. You weren't going to sign anybody out there that was
one individual
that was
going to
say, "Oh my goodness, we're going to win the Super Bowl." No, the playoff wins, the improvement, becoming a Super Bowl team is going to have to come from the group you have there and the improvement that they have together, like the group that already exists. Everyone's going to have to keep developing, getting better. Jordan Love's going to have to develop, get better, and everyone's going to have a lot of guys have to have great years.
Sure.
That's what special seasons are made of.
I think there's one player that's still quasi-available at the moment that would give Packers fans the feeling that they have gotten themselves closer to over the hump, and that's Trey Hendrickson.
Yeah.
Trey Hendrickson, I don't know is available at this moment, right? Like, listen, they're introducing in Cincinnati Jamar Chase and T. Higgins with their fat new deals. Joe Burrow gave him a big hug today in the locker room, said, "Oh, a lot of money in this room." A lot of money in this room.
A lot
Joe,
of money.
A lot of money still with you in those pink pants. However, a lot of money in the room, no doubt about it. Almost 400 mil committed, 400 plus mil, almost 500 mil committed with that team to those 3 guys. I don't know how they're able to add Trey Hendrickson in there. I would think that they would want to recoup with some of the assets, but that to me seems like the one move still available. And let's go down the checklist, because this has been the frustrating part. Azeez Ojulari goes a day ago to the Philadelphia Eagles.
So we were kind of hoping
He's
that
a nice
might be
player.
we were kind of hoping
1 year, $4 million.
Yeah, that might be the guy the Packers could have got, right?
Thought that would have been the budget signing that you go with. All right, you don't get that. But let's go down the checklist of the impact star players that Packers fans were thinking could potentially go. Myles Garrett, check, stays with Cleveland. Max Crosby, check, stays with Las Vegas. Yeah. Let's go Devontae Adams. Check, didn't want to call. He goes back home to Los Angeles. Doesn't surprise you, especially with the paycheck. DK Metcalf seems like the only one, just with what the price tag was, the price of playing poker at this particular point in time, what that ended up being. Out of all the guys that you thought could be the home run swing for your football team, that to me, Armin, is like the one that you could actually have some frustration that the Packers didn't go get. I don't, because I'm a little bit more neutral on Metcalf than many people were at that particular point.
Well,
T. Higgins, stays home.
Yeah, T's another one. Yeah, I'm with you on DK. I think, and also because there was a little bit of buzz about the Packers possibly being involved, and that got everyone excited. You have to say, though, that is a high price. Now, I'm not saying it's not going to be worth it.
Very much could be worth it.
Time will tell on that, but it would have been a bigger risk and a higher price to pay on DK, a guy that's shown a lot of potential, but he's been inconsistent at times. I wasn't worried about the whole, some people were worried about the diva stuff, throwing an iPad. That stuff doesn't bother me. It doesn't really at all. I think good players do that sometimes. I don't think he was a problem. I think it's more of a, do you want to risk the capital and the money going forward on a guy that you pay that, he's got to be a centerpiece and he's got to work out. That's where the pressure is. That being said, in a vacuum, you would have liked to maybe have that one there. But it would have come with the price tag.
Big price tag, draft capital, as well as money. Supper Club Mark said, what do you think the Packers should do with their first-round pick now? Wide receiver, DB, D-tackle? Another poll question? Well, Mark, actually, that's going to set up and is a good tease for what starts next week, which is our draft pine of the day. Grab one pine a day of a draft player of interest for the Green Bay Packers. And he mentions wide receiver, defensive back, D-tackle. Armin, on the list that your boy has compiled for the next 4 weeks to take us up to April 24th at the NFL draft, those three positions highly frequented on the list of pints available. So you'll hear a lot about it. You'll get a lot of information there as well. And we will share a bunch of those names starting up next week as well. We'll talk about a couple of them coming up with our friend Wayne Larrivee on the other side. He is going to be joining me for the draft coverage, our draft show up in Green Bay. He joins us on the other side. Talk about this Mecole Hardman deal. How could this impact who the Packers and what position they'll be looking at for the draft, as well as, hey, man, it's March. Wayne's seen all of these teams. He gave us Illinois last week. That was a nice little pop.
That was.
They had a nice game as well. They will be in Milwaukee. You guys will be seeing them coming up on Friday. We'll talk some college hoops as well with the voice of the Green Bay Packers. Wayne Larrivee on the other side. It's no BS on the game.
Till I made my getaway. 1, 2, 3, they're gonna run back to me.
I want them gummy squares. I want them gummy squares. I want some sleepy with no more anxiety. I need them gummy squares. I need them gummy squares. I need my wife to find her happy place really soon. We have Delta 8 CBD and new Delta 9s. Go to happyplacehemp.com.
happyplacehemp.com. 25% off with promo code DrewKB. happyplacehemp.com.
It's like being trapped in a cage. And I know that sounds dramatic, but your breathing triangle problem has got you trapped. And once you're freed, you're going to be able to live the life that you're missing out on. Now, this can simply mean experiencing the true pleasure of breathing freely. It will mean better sleep and more energy. And the worry of this problem any more affecting your life is going to be gone. Because in almost every case, when Advent has solved a breathing triangle problem, it's a one and done. Because we're not in the business of delivering Band-Aids. We want to fix your nasal breathing problem for good. We don't want you to be a lifelong patient. We want you to be our next success story.
Isn't it time you break free from that cage? Take the next step. Go to adventknows.com to schedule your appointment, because Advent knows when you breathe well, you live better.
Breathe well with simple solutions.
Results may vary. Most insurance accepted.
Do you know or work with kids who have special healthcare needs? Help them live their best lives. Contact Wisconsin Wayfinder Children's Resource Network. Our specialists will connect you with services in your area. Wisconsin Wayfinder is free and confidential. Call 877-947-2929 or visit dhs.wi.gov/WISCWAY. Connect today. Sponsored by the Wisconsin Department of Health Services.
All right, team, listen up. Merle the Squirrel's here to tell you why Capitals duck cleaning is a game changer.
What did he say?
He said, if you haven't cleaned your ducts in 5 years, you're breathing in all kinds of junk. And unlike those companies who use glorified shop vacs, we use high-powered trucks to clean your ducts the right way.
Yeah, makes sense. Cleaner ducts, cleaner air, healthier home.
Exactly.
Schedule your duct cleaning today and save $200. That's right, save $200.
Call CapitalCares.com.
They say seeing is believing, and when you see what's inside at American Place Casino, you better believe you're gonna love it. Because when it comes to amazing gaming, we're a real game changer with the most exciting of table games like blackjack, craps, and roulette, the newest slots, a sportsbook, restaurants, bars, and more. So if you're ready for excitement, we'll see you soon. American Place Casino. Change the game.
Must be 21 years of age or older. If you or someone you know has a gambling problem, crisis counseling and referral services can be accessed by calling 1-800-GAMBLER, 1-800-426-2537.
IndyCar Racing returns to the Milwaukee Mile at Wisconsin State Fair Park on August 23rd and 24th for the Snap-on Milwaukee Mile 250 weekend. Secure your seats in the grandstands for the best views of all the action. Plus, we've pulled out all the stops with incredible food and live entertainment in the epic free fan zone. Race tickets are on sale now at wistatefair.com. Get ready because IndyCar is back with the Snap-on Milwaukee Mile 250, August 23rd and 24th.
Hickory dickory dock, the mouse ran into a gap in your air ducts, made a nest, pooped, and died. Breathe easy after Clean Living Environments cleans your air ducts, will seal air in and mice out. Get more out of your ducts, cleanlivingenvironments.com. That's cleanlivingenvironments.com.
Does your home need new garage doors? At Geis, we partner with CHI Overhead Doors and offer a contemporary collection of high-quality garage doors in a variety of selections to fit your style and budget. A new garage door can improve energy efficiency, reduce noise, and improve curb appeal. Call or visit us in Brookfield to get a quote for your new CHI Overhead Door garage doors and installation.
Don't think twice.
For beautiful CHI overhead doors for your home.
Two bands, one night. Bachman Turner Overdrive. The Marshall Tucker Band. Roll on down the Highway 2025 tour. July 24th, Neuroscience Group Field in Appleton. With special guest Jefferson Starship. A night of vintage PTO. A night of classic Marshall Tucker Band. Reserve seats on sale now at TimberRattlers.com and Timber Rattlers box office.
Miller High Life. Always flavorful, always refreshing, always at the right price. The champagne of beers. Welcome to the High Life. Celebrate responsibly. Miller Brewing Company, Milwaukee, Wisconsin.
Adam Pavlak here. Wednesday afternoons, I'm living the high life with Drew and KB. Thanks to my friends at Miller High Life. The champagne of beers, always flavorful, always refreshing. So join us, raise that bottle, and welcome to the high life.
97.3 The Game.
Welcome back to the program. It's No BS, Billy and Zarian inside the Iron Jock Studios, the all-new Iron Jock Studios built by Reamer Remodel. And also now joining us on the NicoletLaw.com talk and text line as I'm waiting for some kind of psychedelic drums to drop here. What is this, Pink Floyd that we're listening to?
Dire Straits.
No, it's going to hit here. Hold on. There it is. There it is.
Okay.
Money for nothing.
There we go. That brings us in and back on No BS with Billy and Zarian. Our conversation with Wayne Larrabee, sponsored by Steam Fitters Local 601. Learn more by visiting steam601.org and the National Fire Sprinklers Association. Visit them at nfsa.org. The madness of March is upon us. Wayne Larrabee joins us now. And Wayne, finding out that you and Armin Zarian, Steve Zabin might all be enjoying some madness later on this week. And most importantly, some of the best ribs in the city over at Carson's. This sounds like a heck of a Friday night that you guys are about to descend upon.
Can't wait, Billy. Can't wait. Carson's is maybe my favorite restaurant in Milwaukee, period. And I've been spoiled. Their ribs are so good that whenever I have ribs from somewhere else, they just don't
cut it.
Yeah, they don't stack up.
We know you've been excited for this. Wayne, what's it like to see a game as a fan like that? I mean, obviously you call a lot of games, you're working a lot of games. Is it similar? Is it
not going to be as good?
Is it too different, or do you enjoy being able to just watch the game as a fan, or are you itching to, do a little play-by-play in your head,
No, not really. No, I enjoy watching it as a fan. I really do. Having a beer or whatever and just sitting back and not having to worry about the fact that I don't know who made that last 3-point field goal, but somebody did from the team I'm rooting for, because my brackets I'm trying to hold up my brackets, but no, it's great. And you're right. I don't think I've been to an NCAA tournament as a fan. I've only gone to the tournament as, working over the years. So this will be a little bit of a different experience, but it'll be fun.
Yeah. So there's a lot of time for the bracket now. I'm the guy that ultimately I realize that it's probably due in about 20 minutes, kind of like my homework back in the day, Wayne, and I quickly scribble on in here. You gave us Illinois last week as one of your sleeper teams that you really, really like. Are you diving full-fledged in, or are we just tap dancing around picking a couple of teams that you like at this moment? How's the Larrivee bracket looking at this point?
I got a couple of things. I've got Illinois actually going to the Elite Eight. Eventually losing to Houston. There are going to be a couple of upsets early on in this thing, and we're all going to go gaga, and it's going to be great for what you guys do, sports talk radio. But in the end, I think Chalk will pretty much maintain. I mean, not all four number ones. I don't have all four number ones getting there, but pretty close, when you think about it. But there are some teams that I really like in this thing that are kind of unsung. And it'll be interesting to see if they come out of here with any kind of a run. I really think Drake is a team that not many people are talking about. They're kind of sleeping on. There are a couple of others that you sit there and you say, well, maybe they have a shot or they don't. Maryland is playing really well right now out of the Big Ten. But those SEC teams, hard to get past those teams. Tennessee, Auburn, Florida. Florida is, the coach. When I did an SEC game earlier this year, the coaches that I talked to said, they felt Florida was the best team in the league, period. And they ended up winning it. So that's a team you got to take a look at. And but I've got Florida going Elite Eight and losing to St. John's.
Oh, that's going to be a good
That'll
one.
be a good one if St. John's, if little Patino Magic can get that
Rick
far.
Pitino better bust out the white suit for that one.
You might have
He
to.
better
He
look
might
real
have to.
good for that one. Yeah, you might have to bust out the white suit for that one. I also think if Billy Donovan was coaching that Florida team, they're the odds-on favorite, and everybody is goo-goo over them. But
Sure,
right
the
now,
pedigree and all
people
that
are worried
stuff.
about Todd Golden and seeing what he's trying to stock here into the NCAA tournament, trying to stock some wins and a Final Four appearance. We'll see if that ends up coming to fruition. Wayne, we opened the show talking about the newest acquisition for the Green Bay Packers. Now, tongue firmly planted in cheek when I say this is that number one wide receiver that Josh Jacobs was asking us for at the Super Bowl Radio Row. Mecole Hardman has 100-yard game in his career back in 2021, played 12 games a year ago, amassed 12 catches. I thought this tells you more about the cornerback room and special teams, maybe more than the wide receiver, that Keyshawn Nixon might get his wish here. Feels like Mecole Hardman's their new punt and kick returner, and Nixon can focus probably solely on being maybe a number one corner outside.
Yeah, and it's going to be interesting because, as a kick returner, Mecole Hardman, back in, I believe it was 2019, made the Pro Bowl as a return man. So, he has that capability. But since that rookie year, only 18 kickoff returns. So, can he do it? Yeah. Is he going to probably be an efficient return man? I think so. And I think this is an interesting part of why he's a member of the Packers. Can he help him as a receiver? Yes. He has speed. He can bring that dimension. Is he a number one or number two? Not from what I'm seeing. I think he's more of a three, but that's okay. That's not bad. If he's also going to be a return man, That's another factor. I think he's probably going to be a pretty efficient and smart return man, and can kind of stabilize special teams in that regard. So I think this is a good pickup, guys. I really do. He's 27 years old. If he, maybe this is where he finds that right fit and really becomes even a better receiver than what we've seen in the past. But I think he's a good pickup for the Packers for a number of reasons.
Yeah, we also tossed around the possibility that this could maybe give a little breather to Jaden Reed and Keyshawn Nixon and let them focus on their positions, which I think the Packers are counting on improvement from both of them and their positions this year. Do you think that's a possibility?
Well, guys, I mean, and when I look at this whole thing and the way free agency played out, and for the Packers, they were unable to make major moves. Okay, I think they made a couple of good moves. Certainly, the offensive lineman, I think, is worth the money because of what he allows them to do on the front of that offensive line. He allows them to you can put him in at left guard. You can move Elton Jenkins to center, where they felt coming into his career that he'd be a great center, that was his best position. So we're going to get a chance to see that, apparently. And I think that makes the offensive line better. I think the Hobbs kid gives you another option at cornerback, okay? Is he a number one shutdown corner? No. But he gives you more options back there, and I think that helps a lot in that regard. They were unable to get free agents of the caliber of Josh Jacobs or Xavier McKinney in this free agent class. And quite frankly, realistically, maybe there weren't options like that in this free agent class, because this was not a stellar year for free agents. There were a lot of big names, and a lot of big names are still available. But most of those big names, their best is past them.
Yeah, past their prime. And Wayne, this feels much more Packers-esque signing. Try to take a swing on, hey, what did the Philadelphia Eagles, maybe their biggest acquisition in 2024 was what a guy that many people thought was going to be a special teamer who ended up being a first-team All-Pro. Now, I'm not saying that this is going to be a Zach Bond-like signing. He's going to be one of the great slot receivers in football, but it's the moves around the margins that you have to take some swings at. Them to go for a 27-year-old with higher potential than 32-year-old Keenan Allen, that makes a whole lot more sense to where they're at. And the versatility, I love what you mentioned with Banks. I think this plays into a little more of how they played offense in 2023 more than they did in 2024, where this can be under center, play action, and you can utilize his speed through motion and horizontally a lot. And I think that will fit into how they maybe want to play a little bit more like they did in 23, less in 2024.
I agree, Billy. I think he's a good fit. That's the thing. I think he's a good fit for the Packers. How does it pan out? Well, if it doesn't pan out, it's a one-year deal. I mean, come on. It's just, you took a flyer on this and you think this talent will fit with what you do, and chances are he will. And if he does, then you've hit on something. And then you make a decision next year as to whether to keep him or not. You know what I mean? It's a one-year deal. So, it's a low risk. It's a guy who you look at and say, hey, this guy might fit here. He might really fit this scenario, whereas maybe in some of the other places where he was, he just didn't quite fit what they really needed. He was in a dumpster fire with the Jets, okay? And then with Kansas City, there were a lot of things happening down there. He had some great moments with the Chiefs, including the game-winning touchdown catch in the Super Bowl over the 49ers.
I'm curious to know what you think, Wayne. Obviously, the big contracts for T. Higgins and Jamar Chase in Cincinnati might make Trey Hendrickson available, and that's one thing that Packers fans, I think, somewhat still hope for. But do you think that's a way to build a Super Bowl winner, to have a lot of money wrapped up in two receivers and a quarterback? I'm just curious at your thoughts on that. Do you think that's a winning formula?
Yeah, and Armin, it sounds to me from what I'm hearing is that they're probably going to do a deal with Hendrickson as well. You're going to be very top heavy. What's going to happen is you're going to find the rest of your roster is going to be kind of like where the Indianapolis Colts were, and Bill Polian did a tremendous job in this regard. They had the running back, they had the quarterback, they had the wide receiver, and had tons of money tied up in those guys. And the rest of the roster was the youngest in the NFL and had to be, because they couldn't afford anything else. So that's kind of where Cincinnati is. And you've got to wonder about, do they have the resources now? Their draft has got to be defense heavy, I would think, because that's where their defense collapsed last year. And that was with Hendrickson sacking the quarterback almost 18 times. So, if they retain Henderson, they're going to have to really, I think, invest in young players on the defense And it's going to be very interesting to see if this is going to be good enough to get them back into the playoffs and into Super Bowl contention. Because you're right, they are going to be hamstrung in what they're able to do with these big contracts on the upper end of the roster.
Wayne, that's an elite poll of the Bill Polian play with the Colts because, and this is where, if I'm Zach Taylor, I'm looking at that situation saying, ooh, I don't love that comparison because I think they brought in Tony Dungy because he ran a rather easier defense to understand, right? Where you could plug in young players, try to get big pops from guys on rookie deals. Al Golden came in from Notre Dame to be their new defensive coordinator. He's like, okay, sweet. So I'm coaching college kids again. I'm going to coach a lot of young college kids again and try to play that way because you're exactly right. They're going to be playing with a lot of guys in that second and third round variety that they're going to have to get massive contributions from if that's going to be successful.
Yeah, and I have a lot of respect for Duke Tobin. I knew his father well in Chicago, and Duke is an outstanding young general manager in this league, and he will figure it out, and they'll make good draft choices because Cincinnati does draft relatively well, and I think they'll get a handle on it and probably contend again. But understand something that as good as that quarterback was, boys and girls. If I had to tell you that it's not just about the quarterback, and because we go crazy about quarterbacks in this league,
we do.
But you need more than just a great quarterback. Okay, it's not the NBA. Okay, one player can't make that big a difference. Even at the quarterback position, that guy still needs help around him to reach his full potential and to get that team to where you needed to go.
Because then in the NBA, just put Jimmy Butler on any team playing the Bucks, and apparently they become the 96 Bulls.
Guys, I got to ask you something. And I'm a big Bucks fan, and I'm really looking forward to the playoffs and all that.
No. What's he going to ask? Oh gosh,
I just think the window and looking at it and going back to last year, even though Giannis was out and Dame was, and they had the injuries and all that, and Middleton played his butt off, and that team played its butt off in that series against Indiana. I thought when they lost that they got 7 games, didn't they, in that series?
I think it was 6.
6 last year. Yep.
Okay, 6, yeah. Anyway, I just felt like the window, that was it. And the Bucks were unable to, because of where they were on the salary cap and all those umbrellas in the NBA you have on that salary cap, they were unable to make maybe reverse pivot and make a move. They had basically the same roster coming into this year, and they had to make do with it. And I understand they made the Middleton trade and all that stuff, and they got Kuzma in here, and I'm hopeful that that'll be good because, like I said, I love the way the Bucks play the game, and I just think somehow that window is closed, and there might be 4 teams in the East, maybe 5 that are better than the Bucks and have a better shot to extend their season. So it's going to be very interesting, especially if they get into a series first round. They could get into a series with the Knicks. That's going to be a bloodbath series. There's
going to be some serious series. I mean, that the Knicks could get upset. I love the Pistons. I mean, like the Pistons, the way they're playing right now is amazing. Well. Yeah. Wayne, I had this really sinking realization. I went to the game on Sunday night with a couple of buddies, came in on Monday, and in the dumps. I mean, like I'm sitting here just in the dumps watching our favorite basketball team and seeing there are tiers. There's levels to this stuff, as the kids like to say.
Yep.
They're about 3 or 4 levels different. There was a big old gap between that team on the other side, Oklahoma City, who consensus feels like the best team in basketball, maybe outside of the Cavs, maybe outside of the Celtics, wherever you want. They're fighting for that. They're fighting to get that first round victory. And I'm with you. That's a frustrating moment because I just love watching Giannis play, and we cannot lose that young man. He needs to be here forever.
And yet, I like Brook Lopez. He hits big shots, but how much more are you going to squeeze out of that guy? And the injury factor with Middleton, they made that trade. That's okay. I'm fine with that. Kuzma is a good player, but you just wonder on this thing. I love Doc Rivers. I'm just really looking forward to this spring with the Bucks. I'm sick of this regular season already. Teams are losing games they shouldn't lose. But they are because, they're just, come on. Can we get to the playoffs? For God's sakes, get this NCAA tournament done, and let's get to the NBA playoffs. Come on.
Thank you.
This is taking way too long for all of us.
Here we go, Wayne. Oh, there's finally somebody else that understands. Somebody else that understands.
And I'll say this really quick. I think that would be my hope and faith in things unseen is that we know the playoffs are a totally different animal from the regular season. So what we're seeing now might not be the same. Let's get there healthy, which they haven't done in 3 years.
Yep.
And let's hope that things will turn around in that sense. The last 2 games obviously don't inspire much confidence, but things can change, and they do all the time. So,
well, exactly, Armin. And you know, the other thing, but I just go back to last spring, and I just felt like at that point, that was when I first realized, okay, the Bucks aren't going to win a championship with this present group. Okay, they're just not. And you know, I saw the athleticism and the speed that Indiana played with it. I understand Giannis did not play in the series. I get that. But Indiana was so fast, and that even if Giannis is on the floor, my God, I don't think it would have made that much of a difference. You know, Indiana was just a team on the come. Now, they haven't had quite the regular season I thought they would, but, you know, come playoff time, if they've got their act together, they're very good. And then, of course, Cleveland, Boston, you go on down the line of teams, and it's going to be interesting, but I'm just hoping against hope we get more than one round of the playoffs for the Bucks this year.
Yeah, and I hope amongst hope that we can get one of those Carson's nights and a basketball night into the NBA playoffs. Because I'm going to miss you guys on Friday night. We got to do this thing in April for the NBA playoffs because that sounds like a banner night.
How about that?
Let's do it. Appreciate it, man, and enjoy the night on Friday, and we'll talk next week.
Sounds good, guys. Take care.
That's our guy, Wayne Larrivee, voice of the Green Bay Packers, hanging out with us here on No BS on the Game. We're going to go to Denver coming up in about a half hour from right now. Check in with Matt LePay, voice of the Wisconsin Badgers. Doug Russell's got an update, and we'll hear from Brewers general manager Matt Arnold on the other side. It's No BS on the Game.
Preset. Save.
We're already a preset in your car, I assume.
Preset number 1, never a doubt.
And we've brought it to the iHeartRadio app.
Simply click the button labeled Preset.
Our station gets anchored to the top of your app.
97.3 The Game. Added.
Listeners are always asking me about QC Kinetics treatments. They want to know if they should consider it for their joint pain. If you're wondering if you are a good candidate, let's see how you answer these questions. First, is your quality of life impacted by the chronic pain in your knees, hips, shoulder, or other joints? You have trouble sleeping, walking, day in and day out movement? Next, do you want to avoid surgery and all of the pain, long recovery, and uncertainty that comes with it? And most importantly, do you miss doing things that you love because joint pain is consistently holding you back? Like walking, golfing, jogging. If you answered yes to any of these, I'd bet you're a great candidate. So don't wait. Call QC Kinetics right now and ask for a free consultation. Learn about these latest advancements in regenerative medicine and how they can get you lasting relief with no drugs, no surgery, and no downtime. Call QC Kinetics for a free consultation. Saturday appointments now available. It's 414-285-3474. That's 414-285-3474. QC Kinetics, 414-285-3474.
KB here for CertaPro Painters. Spring is here, and there's no easier way to get your home looking good for summer than with a fresh coat of paint from CertaPro Painters. A little bit of paint goes a long way to making your home feel like the day you moved in. Each CertaPro Painters business is independently owned and operated. To schedule your free estimate and learn about their spring sales event going on through May 15th, visit CertaPro.com. That's Certa with a C.com. When choosing a painting professional, the choice is simple. Choose happy. Choose CertaPro Painters.
KB here for Pep's Draft House Pizza, the official pizza of the Drew and KB Show. The Taproom Double, the Prohibition Special, the Brawl and Buffalo Chicken, or the 5-Meat Mash. These are just some of the big flavors Pep's brings to your kitchen. Preheat the oven, turn on the game, grab your favorite beer, and make your house a draft house today.
Save big money on the last roof you'll ever need with steel roofing from Menards. Steel roofing adds value to your home with superior wind and hail resistance. Choose from 29 beautiful colors, available in cut to your length panels for fast installation. View our entire selection of steel roofing today on Menards.com. Plus, check out our weekly flyer for other hot deals happening this week.
Save big money at Menards.
Do you know the secret to losing up to 1 pound of fat every day? At Milwaukee Weight Loss, we know the secret. Our doctor-developed, easy-to-follow weight loss program helps you lose weight fast, naturally and safely, and with no drugs or injections with risk of serious side effects, no prepackaged meals, bars, shakes, and no exercising required. Our program helps reset your metabolism so you can keep the weight off for good with a coach for ongoing support. Our program costs up to half as much and works up to twice as fast as most other programs. programs. Go to MilwaukeeWeightLoss.com to schedule your free consultation.
Hey guys, Billy Schmidt, Milwaukee Weight Loss, one of the best decisions I ever made. I'm actually going back for round 2. I'm trying to look my absolute best this summer, and you should too.
Many patients lose 20 to 30 pounds in about a month or two. That's up to a pound per day. Schedule your free consultation by calling 262-433-4008 or online at MilwaukeeWeightLoss.com. That's MilwaukeeWeightLoss.com. Results may vary.
Progressive knows if you have to choose between everyday life and your RV wins.
What, are you going to take the RV to the mountains or go pick up your dry cleaning?
RV wins!
Are we cleaning the gutters or taking the RV camping?
RV wins!
Are we getting a new passport or cruising up the coast?
RV wins!
Don't forget, you got that trip to Sweden coming up. Oh, yeah, passport, then RV.
With Progressive, you can bundle your RV with your home or auto and save with a discount and spend more time enjoying those savings in your RV. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company affiliates and other insurers. Not available in all states and situations.
Hey, Joy. Oh, you are glowing.
Oh, hey, more like Mira joyed that Miralax helped me go. I was so backed up. Tried mega coffees, prune juice, everything. Then Miralax. And hello, gentle relief without the harsh side effects.
Ooh, how does it work?
It works naturally with the water in your body for constipation relief. Find Miralax today at your local retailer.
Use as directed for occasional constipation.
Find what you love, love what you find. A Total Wine and More. There's so much waiting for you. Spirits and beer, thousands of wines. Guides in the know and prices so low. It just might blow your mind. You're gonna find what you love and love what you find.
With curbside pickup and delivery available, you'll always find what you love, only at Total Wine and More.
Drink responsibly, B21.
I had the worst dream last night. You were in a car crash and the kids and I were on our own. We had to move out of the house because I couldn't afford it anymore.
It's awful, huh?
My brother got life insurance from Ethos and it only took 10 minutes. And he got $2 million in coverage for around $2 a day. It's all online, no medical exam. He just answered a few health questions right from his house.
Ethos, here we come.
Visit ethos.com/sports. Ethos.com/sports.
Sample rate is a 10-year term life policy for 35-year-old healthy, non-smoking male. Billed monthly.
WRNW Milwaukee. The Badgers play here.
Open three, right of the circle, money.
97.3 The Game. There is no BS with Screamin' Sicilian Premium Craft Frozen Pizza. Find it in your local grocer's freezer and taste what all the screaming is about. Drop it.
He's very knowledgeable, very intelligent guy, very personable guy.
Here's Doug Russell.
All right, the basketball Badgers, they have made their way to Denver for tomorrow's opening round game of the NCAA tournament against Montana. Before the team left, Coach Greg Gard held a media availability and put a positive spin on their short turn and burn from Sunday's afternoon Big Ten championship to Thursday morning's opening of the NCAAs.
I think the quick turnaround's good for us. I had a good day off yesterday and got back learning about Montana today, and we'll do more tomorrow after we get out there. But obviously a good team, well coached. He's done a good job there for 11 or 12 years now, and obviously we played Montana back in 2012. It wasn't Wayne Tinkle was the coach there at that time, but a program that's historically been very good in that league and very consistent.
The Hall of Fame voice of the Badgers, Matt LePay, is coming up live from Denver here on No BS. Meanwhile, Friday in Cleveland, it's Marquette taking on New Mexico. The Golden Eagles ranked as high as 5th in the country at one point this season. Now they're 7th seed.
I remember those days.
Yeah. Stevie Mitchell doesn't care.
Seed doesn't matter. That's all out the window. It's just who shows up and who plays harder, who competes more is going to win the game. And, you know, and if a team makes a tournament, they're obviously a very good team. So it's on us to just be ready for whatever they throw at us.
Tip-off is at 6:30 on Friday. It'll be on TBS or at a bar near you.
Yeah, Stevie's. Yeah, well, listen, and congrats to everyone that found for once a year True TV last night. Congrats to everyone. Once a year, you got to find True TV.
They just rise up like Undertaker.
Yeah, exactly. Every year. And
hear that gong and it's True TV's music.
Stevie, I love Stevie. He's a dog, one of the finest individuals to put the jersey on, and that's saying a lot. So be a dog on Friday, Stevie. Go get him. Lead this group.
I like that.
Stevie Mitchell, I feel bad because I've made some jokes.
I know what you're going to say.
Stevie Mitchell's expense.
It's okay.
Listen, if you're going to win tournament games, you need guys like Stevie Mitchell to be having games, right? Like when the Wisconsin Badgers had Brad Davison, he had to have a good game for them to win games, right? And it didn't mean that he had to hit 5 threes. It meant that he had to be on the floor not get too much in foul trouble, and frustrate the absolute hell out of somebody else.
It's what we call a red ass.
Yes, and Stevie Mitchell, my man, can have a stat line against St. John's where he has like 6 points all at the free throw line. He's 0 of 7 and 4 steals, and you still feel like he's a factor. That's going to be a part of it. I think
like Max Klesman.
Yeah, if they're going to be able to
True.
shut down Dent,
Yeah.
it's going to have to be a big game from Stevie Mitchell.
No doubt on
Brad
defense.
Davis's name in a minute.
And it would definitely help
Love
if
being
he,
able to throw that.
That guy's
capper
in there. awesome.
it would definitely help for him to hit some shots too. He's been better from 3 this year, 36%. It's way above his career average. Someone's going to have to score the ball at some point, and you have to hit threes. That's just the reality of this tournament. It's 3
Hit the
point
breaking
variance.
news sounder.
You got to score. So
Hit
there
the
you go.
breaking news music. Holy cow. We need to score points in the NCAA tournament.
Wow. I'm here to say.
That's what I'm talking about.
I'm here to tell you that
Get in here,
the teams that hit more
World News
threes
tonight with Armin Saria.
teams that hit more
On
threes
ABC.
than they miss in this tournament will have a better chance to go far.
Those teams will have a better chance to
Wow.
win the game. Man.
Last night there were 2 playing games. You didn't necessarily need True TV. All you needed, if you're in Milwaukee, is 97.3 the game.
They have to go 94 feet. Simpson will inbound under his own basket. Paneto pressures the ball. He throws a baseball right-hand pass, arcing toward the far free throw line. It's loose under the basket. Right up and in by Knox. 7/10 of a second to go. Amore Knox gives Alabama State the lead, 70-68.
That's how it ended, as heard on Westwood One.
Okay, Nate Gatter on the call. Excellent call by him.
Great
Very
call.
good call.
Great
And
call.
also, Armin, you're going to like this one. Dave McCain will love it. Shout out engineer on that.
Yeah.
Because that does not peak. That's a difficult one, as that place was rocking in Dayton yesterday. He brought the energy, kept it underneath the meter. Oh my God. He ends it with welcome to March, and what a capper. Great call, Nate Gatter. And
fantastic.
excellent work, Westwood One. If you want to listen to the NCAA tournament or you want to enjoy the NCAA tournament, Westwood One has one of the most electrifying two-day broadcasts of all time.
What if my guy Tim Parker was on that? He was somebody I worked with at Sporting News who works for Westwood One.
Sounds
as
like
one of
it'd be
those.
it. Yeah.
As one of those engineer types.
Yeah, and like the Westwood One coverage, we talk about it with Jason Horowitz when he would be down at the Final Four when Butchie and I would go the last couple of years. Being able to be the anchor and be in that chair, and he's whipping it to different games and games. We go live now to Cleveland, and we take you away from this game. It is red zone for your ears.
Yeah.
It is an electric factor.
Yeah, that was an awesome finish last night. The 16 matchup is what March is about for me.
Totally,
Congrats
yes.
to Tony Matlock, the coach for Alabama State, who was a former Auburn assistant. His son, TJ Matlock, and Mrs. Matlock in the crowd just absolutely in agony.
Wasn't Matlock a show that people were
wasn't great.
watching?
This is Madlock.
Anna
Listen.
loved Matlock.
Oh, okay.
Now,
and Murder, She Wrote.
Yeah.
It's like a Sunday night.
I was going to say,
CBS.
that sounds like a Me TV special.
Yeah.
right there.
big moment. He
It
said,
is now.
that's what it is. It's not that good.
Play with the Carol Burnett.
But hey, I do like Auburn's
tugged her
chances in this one.
On the
At least it
nightcap,
was her ear.
North Carolina just demolished San Diego State 95-68.
They hurt everybody. I think they hurt everybody.
Well, they had to. The Tar Heels now headed to Milwaukee for Friday's tilt against Ole Miss. The Bucks, they played last night at Golden State, a game of runs, but in the end, the Warriors, without Steph Curry, ran it up late, 104-93. Here's Doc.
We didn't execute most of the game, so we're in an offensive funk right now, and we have to get out of it. We'll work our way out of it.
Uh-huh.
He's right, though. I mean, like the amount of live ball turnovers that they've had over the last 2 or 3 games is just mind-numbing.
Can't have that.
Like in the second and third quarter against the Thunder, that was probably the part of Sunday night's game that brought me, Armin, to my realization the most. Like, we're literally just miscommunication. You're pitching the ball to the national broadcast table instead of a dribble handoff. Last night was the same deal. Like, in that second quarter, they could just not execute at all. And then the fourth quarter was the exact same thing. It was like rinse, slather, repeat. You score 17 points, give up 26 in the second and fourth quarter. And I don't know what it is about Jimmy Butler. I don't know what it is about Jimmy Butler. He wasn't amazing last night, but he gets to the free throw line, 11 of 11.
Yeah.
Just an absolute demon when he faces the Bucks.
Yeah, go ahead.
I was going to say, usually, I mean, the way that I was taught basketball was how you come out of halftime oftentimes will dictate how the rest of the game goes. Not last night.
No.
For the Bucks, they outscored Golden State 32-20 in the third quarter, and then it just fell apart.
Dude, they went on like a 23-5 run in that time.
But they entered the game with the
17-0 run
30th
for
ranked
State.
fourth quarter offense in the league, and they went 4 for 16 in the fourth last night. And that's the problem. But for me, you're right. The turnovers are bad. It's like, I know you can be better than this. I know they can play better in the fourth quarter. They don't shoot well in the fourth right now. For some reason, their offense isn't. But my hope and faith is that they can figure out to not make those mistakes. I know there's more in them that they can be better. They just aren't doing it. So
and without Steph last night too, that
frustrating
that part,
dude. And then Butler hits the step in and one, was called initially a 3, but his foot's on the line. Then he just points back over to Steph. He's like, "You right there." This guy was sitting here brewing coffee in his basement by himself for the entire year, pouting like a 15-year-old who is waiting to get the new car and then realize that his parents are going to give him a used car for his birthday. Like, what are we doing here?
Yeah.
And now he comes in and now absolute savage. I think they've won like 13 of their last 15 games there.
He's been able to flip the switch. You know, you always hear so much like you can't just flip a switch. In his career, he does.
I hate basketball. I hate everybody. I hate everything. And now he's prime Butler.
And this was the business end of a back-to-back for them, too. They had lost to Denver the night before as well.
Yep.
So, I mean, if you're ever going to get a team that is maybe prime for a loss, that would have been it. But not the case.
Well,
the Bucks
you know
are
what?
at LA tomorrow.
And I apologize. I'll be honest. I think that one's on me. Like, I do think that I'm the reason why the Bucks took that L last night.
You invested in them?
I put them on the parlay of the day.
Yeah, that's a kiss of death.
That was the kiss of death.
Yeah.
Doug, did you know that the parlay of the day for game 1 of the baseball season hits for game 2 of the baseball season? Did No BS place the parlay of the day from game 1 on game 2? That answer would be no.
How about that?
So I think now we put the Bucks on the do not fly list. And then maybe they go to the Eastern Conference Finals. We just never include them in the parlay of the day again.
That's one way to do it, Billy.
And they go to the Eastern Conference Finals.
It might work. Nothing else is. So
nothing else is working at this moment. Nothing else is working at this moment. Who is working? Our friend Doug Russell. Great job,
Doug. Great
job.
Thank you. Doug.
We'll talk to you in an hour.
Sounds good.
That is Doug Russell from the Update Desk here on No BS. A lot of great stuff. A lot of more basketball coming up here tonight. And we will be talking, even though it is a disappointing and frustrating, albeit sometimes mind-numbing occurrence. We will have a parlay of the day coming up here after 11 o'clock. We'll talk to our friend Justin Arnett, VP of Digital Gaming.
Who's loving your parlay? He's having a great time.
I think they've already lined up for next year.
Yeah, I think he's loving this experience.
We need to double this up. Let's do this again. You want to do 2 parlays of the day?
Yeah. I think he'd love both.
I think he would love
better
that.
chances to hit. We get 2 opportunities.
You know what, Dave?
You're
not lying.
Yeah. Little does he know you're just setting him up for that big.
We're just a generational run that we're about to go
that's
on.
just setting him up.
You're going to be hustling him. Just
he comes in today strutting his stuff.
Yeah. It's a season.
You guys should definitely fire more parlays of the day. Then this weekend, we just absolutely rob them. We win one today. Probably not today. Hit one tomorrow. Hit one on Friday. Everybody that's listening and playing along on No BS is like, I'm going to the Potawatomi Sportsbook to be able to go cash these tickets on Saturday and Sunday. Bang! Hit them again!
That's right.
That's what I'm talking about. And that's when they really start shaking in their boots.
You're going to be like that Leo DiCaprio meme with the drink. Who's laughing now?
That's them.
That's my favorite meme every time the Cubs lose, which is now twice. They're 0-2.
Which is now twice. And it's easier to dunk and easier to throw down, knowing that they are not one win away from being in first place as they are buried in the cellar.
Exactly.
At 0-2. Speaking of baseball, speaking of the Chicago Cubs and that last place team in the NL Central, let's talk about the team that won the NL Central a year ago. Matt Arnold joined the Mike Heller Show yesterday, and in a great setting of spring training where you're able to hang out, sit down, get into the broadcast booth, you're looking out at some baseball. Everybody's feeling confident, loving life. Hard not to love this job if you're Matt Arnold, right?
I love it. I don't even know what else I would do. Honestly, I'd probably be a bartender somewhere. I don't really know, whatever, but I can tell some baseball stories, but no, I love it. I mean, I grew up in the bleachers in Oakland Coliseum sitting with my dad watching games when I was little, and tried to play this game as long as I could. And I wasn't very good. And so I just tried to find a new way to be around it. And I just love everything about it. And so the challenges associated with it, the people around it, I feel so fortunate to just be close to everyone around the game, people like Bob Uecker. I mean, just so special. It's for me to have that opportunity to be around these types of legends around the sport is something I'm very, very thankful for.
Yep. And being in this position, you hear him talk about Uecker, obviously the other people that he's worked with, went on to talk more about Bob and the void that's going to leave for the organization. Crazy to think that this guy's been here 10 years now, Armin.
Unbelievable.
And to talk about how much he loves necessarily the job and being in baseball, being a GM, but seemingly being in Milwaukee is another part of it because he's had opportunities to go. right? Like, I mean, he would have had opportunities to go when he was the assistant for the Brewers, working under David Stearns. I think it was widely reported that he had 1 or 2 different teams trying to put him in the general manager spot, or at least interview for him. He's like, yeah. He interviewed for a couple, didn't work out. And this one ultimately is the spot that he settles in. He's been here almost a decade now.
You'd like to think there's an investment too, being a guy that's been around those small markets and the smallest of markets. You talk about Oakland, Tampa, Milwaukee.
Yeah.
I mean, we're actually the big dog in that group of 3, which is kind of crazy to say. But he grew up going to Oakland. I'm sure his heart's broken in that sense for them.
Yeah.
I'm sure he feels that's, see what's going on in Tampa. They don't even want a new stadium. They don't even know what they're going to do. There's got to be a certain affinity for him in trying to, be the flag bearer for this type of community, this type of baseball market, and this type of fan base. I like to think that, at least in my mind. So I believe that there is that for him.
And more on the cash in a moment, but as he looks at the 2025 roster that he has, what message do you have, and how do you carry over what you had in 2024?
Yeah, I think, look, I think we put ourselves in a position to succeed last year. We had everything, I think, in the spot that we wanted, and a changeup by a really, really good pitcher, got hit out by a really good hitter, and hats off to those guys. You know what I mean? I mean, they did the job. And it's on us to when we get knocked down, we have to get back up. And that's important to us. That's important to our franchise. Murph, that's what Murph's about. That's what I'm about. Ricky Weeks, all of our guys. Remaining undaunted, I think, is the thing. And that's been a theme for Murph for a lot of time, all the time that he's been here together. And I think just continuing to maintain that mentality and that edge that we have to try to win tonight, and not zoom out too far. It's just like, what do we do pitch to pitch that we're going to outcompete the other team? And I think if we continue to do that and have that type of mentality, good things will happen in October.
I like the fact that the t-shirts are going to remain. I like the catchphrase.
I love it.
Love the undaunted.
Yep, that's our thing.
I think in there, though, the win tonight, the win every night, that Murph's kind of embodied through year 1 and keeping into year 2. I think it's a unique part of baseball that could kind of cross over with the NBA, right? Like we're talking about with Wayne Larrivee in the last hour of the program, and you missed that, go and check it out on the podcast. You have a team where in a season, groups are going to go through peaks and valleys, right? Of not just how they're playing, the attention and the day in and day out attitude that you get, focusing on the competition that every pitch, every game has. It's easier to say than when you're in the midst of it for 6 to 7, 8 months, as these guys ultimately are. It's the biggest part, I think, of their success a year ago for young players walking into the big leagues and not being maybe caught up in the step up that it is,
sure.
Right? The grand nature of it is just focus on the next pitch,
Just
focus on this game, because
thing.
we can focus on, we got a 9-game road trip in 10 days. We're playing 17 games in 17 days. More importantly, you're going to have 3 at-bats here tonight to help us win the baseball game. And I think that part of the messaging is one of the reasons why people are as high on Murph and this team as they've been.
Well, I think you brought it up, Billy, and you hit it right in the head. It's with young players especially. You don't want to overcomplicate things. Look, it's easy to get daunted, right? No pun intended, by a big season, a big expectation, thinking about the future. What is, are we going to have to plan for this and ups and downs? You know what? Let's just keep it simple. Let's focus on tonight. Let's make that our goal every day. And then you look up and the next thing you know, you're in the playoffs. So I like that method. I think it works well for a young group. And I think it keeps you simple and it keeps your focus narrowed on what you have to do.
A lot of young players, but let's take a look at that lineup, Matt Arnold. Some people maybe don't think that it's as good as maybe you do. Is it a little underrated?
It's okay if we're underrated.
Yeah,
I mean, I'm not that interested in the ratings. I just want us to go out and play well. I mean, that's what it's about. And I think we have that edge, and I think there are a lot of really well balanced players, and it's not just like one type of profile. To your point, it's like something that we want to have. We want to have guys that can catch and throw the baseball. We want to have guys that can base run. We can do the little things if we need to win a game. It's not just living with a home run and a strikeout. It's winning in a lot of different ways. And I think having that well balanced lineup, kind of to your point, with the veteran guys and some of the young guys is really exciting.
It is, with the amount of. Listen, they got to come up with 35 home runs. I keep throwing that number out there, and it can be a very, very simplistic way of looking at the team and looking at offense. They got to make up 35 home runs. The difficult nature of it, I think they can piece that together with different guys having better years. I think Rhys Hoskins, you might be able to squeeze a few more out of there. Hopefully, if Christian Yelich plays more than 72 games, you're looking at more there. There might be 4 or 5 more homers in that bat of Jackson Chourio this year. But you're not going to be able to replace or replicate right out of the gates the 13 3-run bombs, right? Those are game-changing swings that you had. However, they're faster than they were a year ago. They led the league in stolen bases, and our boy Hunter Baumgart was down there. Dave was just down there last couple of days. Seems like they might even run even more than they did a year ago.
Ultimately, your goal is to score runs. Home runs obviously help. It's the easiest way to score runs in baseball, but it doesn't have to be that way. I mean, it doesn't have to be exactly 35 more homers. If you're not going to replace that, you can replace it in other ways. There's other ways to score on the baseball field.
But I think you got to get close to it, right? Like, I think you got to get like 30 of those 35 back.
It does help, right, for you to try and win the games you won last year, especially if you expect what you expect out of your pitching staff. That remains to be seen. I do like what he said about, listen, I don't care about the outside view of us. I don't care about how we're viewed. I don't care about the ratings. I don't care about all that window dressing. What matters is winning on the field. And that's great because that's what the Brewers should be focusing on, because they'll never win in the court of public opinion, right?
Well, in the court of public opinion is difficult, especially when the system you're playing in is so vastly different. Mike Heller loves talking financials, talks about it with Matt Arnold. Do you think the financial differences in baseball is a problem for the league?
I think potentially to some degree. I mean, look, we're never going to make excuses. We are the smallest market in the league, but at the same time, we're going to go out and have to find unique ways to beat the Dodgers and the Cubs and the Yankees and all those guys, right? And so that's never been question from us. I mean, we just have to outcompete these guys. We have to outwork them. We have to find new ways to beat those guys. And so I don't necessarily expect it to be perfectly even. I think when you start to see it a little bit disproportionately tilted in certain directions, I think that becomes a challenge, because I think that the most important thing is that you have fan bases that believe you can win every single year. And that's what we want to have here. We want to have that in Milwaukee, where you walk in the door and say, we have a chance to compete and win a championship, because that is what we're about here. And so I think if the landscape starts to shift in a way where fan bases don't feel that way, I think that's a problem for our sport.
All right, love a couple of parts in there. First off, love the table pounds.
That's my
favorite. Table
favorite.
Pounds of you need to feel like you can win here. You need to feel like you have a chance to go off and play in the playoffs and have those moments. They put themselves in those spots. Now they got to be able to finish them off. I think, Armin, there's a growing sense that people have of like, all right, now it's just the Dodgers and everybody else will figure it out. There's still more teams that are up there. I like that he throws the Cubs in there as a team that could very much spend all the money in the world.
Mm-hmm.
They don't. There's a lot of teams that could spend all the money in the world. They don't. I actually give the Dodgers some credit. I really do, for saying, you know what? We keep winning. This keeps working. We're just going to load up. You watch that game this morning, looks like an all-star game. Like, I mean, the amount of almost surefire Hall of Famers they have on that team.
It's crazy.
But in reality, he said, we got to be creative and we got to have some breaks. You got to have your best players play their best games. And not unlike the NCAA tournament, where we're going to go to right now and talk with Matt LePay in a couple of minutes, you got to have your best players have their best games. And you can't have William Contreras and Willy Adames having bad series like they did a year ago and think that you're going to win a playoff series.
That's the reality. And when you're on a show with Mike Heller, pounding the table is just part of it.
It's a part of it. Good call.
Mike does it. You're going to be doing it.
You better do it.
Pounding the table is what you do. All right.
You got to be a part of it. Oh, that is awesome stuff. All right. On the other side, we will go out to Denver. Badgers getting ready for round number 1 and their matchup coming up against Montana. We'll talk about it with the voice of the Hall of Fame voice of the Wisconsin Badgers, Matt LePay. On the other side, it's No BS on the Game.
It just takes some time, little girl, and a little out the ride. Everything will be just fine.
Football fans, get ready for an unforgettable NFL draft experience in the Discover Green Bay 2025 Draft Sweepstakes. Find out more about the 2025 draft in Green Bay and enter to win at greenbay.com/sweeps.
March Madness in full swing.
Blackwell inside, and he sends it down with the right hand. Sanjay with bad intentions. inches. 3 left side, book it.
The Badgers head west for a first-round matchup Thursday in Denver against Montana. Pre-game with Matt and Butchie at 11:30. Tip-off at 12:30 on your home for the Badgers in the NCAA tournament. 97.3 The Game.
Our iHeartRadio Music Awards celebrated the music and artists you've loved listening to all year on iHeartRadio. Brought to you by Jeep.
It's now streaming on Hulu for a limited time.
Bad Bunny,
Billie Eilish,
Glorilla,
Kenny Chesney,
Money Long,
Nelly,
your host, LL Cool J,
plus Lady Gaga,
Mariah Carey,
Gracie Abrams,
and iHeartRadio's Tour of the Century Award, honoring Taylor Swift, the Eras Tour.
Our 2025 iHeartRadio Music Awards.
Streaming now on Hulu.
Bud Light was brewed to be delicious and easy to drink, like overtime in the game. But that just means more time to enjoy a fresh Bud Light. Bud Light, easy to drink, easy to enjoy. Find Bud Light at your local bar or restaurant today. Want a VIP experience at the NFL Draft in Green Bay? From March 10th through April 4th, visit Champs Brookfield, Maxwell's in Cedarburg, the Brat Stop Kenosha, and Mr. Brews Menominee Falls. Find the NFL Draft sweepstakes poster and scan the QR code to enter.
Must be 21 plus to enter. Enjoy responsibly. Anheuser-Busch Bud Light Beer, St. Louis, Missouri.
My quality of life is so different. But one of the first things that I noticed was my breathing. I don't ever remember being able to breathe like that.
I can see the breath inside my house. This is how horror movies start.
First, the cold seeps in. Next thing you know, you're spooning your cat for warmth.
I tried it. He bit me.
Jason, come on, man. You need a new furnace. Don't you know that Capital is giving away the furnace when you get a new AC?
Giving as in free?
Yeah, but call Capital before this turns into the horror version of Frozen. Call Capital today and get a free furnace with a new AC.
Old-fashioned service, you can't go wrong. Call CapitalCares.com.
IndyCar racing returns to the Milwaukee Mile at Wisconsin State Fair Park on August 23rd and 24th for the Snap-on Milwaukee Mile 250 weekend. Secure your seats in the grandstands for the best views of all the action. Plus, we've pulled out all the stops with incredible food and live entertainment in the epic free fan zone. Race tickets are on sale now at wistatefair.com. Get ready because IndyCar is back with the Snap-on Milwaukee Mile 250, August 23rd and 24th.
Hey guys, Billy Schmidt here to tell you about Milwaukee Weight Loss and how their doctor-developed, easy-to-follow weight loss program can help you lose weight fast, naturally, safely, and easily without the use of drugs or injections with the risk of serious side effects. And no prepackaged meal program, no bars and shakes, and no exercise even required. They know the secret to losing up to 1 pound of fat every day. And if they know the secret, why not listen? Plus, their program helps you reset your metabolism so you can keep the weight off for good, and their coaches are there for ongoing support. And the best part, their program costs up to half as much and works up to twice as fast as most other programs that you've heard of. Many patients lose 20 to 30 pounds in the first month or two. That's what I did over a year ago, and it's one of the best decisions I ever made. So go to MilwaukeeWeightLoss.com today and schedule your free consultation or give them a call at 262-433-4008. That's 262-433-4008 or visit them online at MilwaukeeWeightLoss.com. That's MilwaukeeWeightLoss.com. And when you sign up, make sure you tell them they heard about it on the game and the Billy Schmidt sent you. Results may vary.
I'm at the movies, asking people if they'll switch seats with me for $574.
Here, take mine.
So what about $574 if you switch your home insurance to Allstate?
Too much work.
Not if you call them. They handle the switching.
Now, that's a plot twist.
Shh. Check Allstate first, and you could save hundreds on quality home insurance today. You're in good hands with Allstate.
Not available in every state. Based on the national average annual savings for new home insurance customers surveyed in 2023 who switched to Allstate and reported savings. Savings vary.
Shopping with your parents can be embarrassing.
Why would they sell jeans with holes in them? I'm going to speak to the manager.
Mom!
That hoodie is giving. You should get it. YOLO.
Thanks to the Chase mobile app, your kid can shop independently while you keep an eye on their spending. So you can go from
We can be twinsies.
to
How was shopping? Saw you stayed on budget.
Thanks, Mom. Freedom for kids, control for parents. That's family banking from Chase.
Account subject to approval. Chase mobile app is available for select mobile devices. Message and data rates may apply. JP Morgan Chase Bank N.A. Member FDIC.
VSiN, the Sports Betting Network, presented by Potawatomi Sportsbook. Bet above the rest every night at 6.
Well, listen to Suck and Bet Better. How's that?
On Fox Sports 920.
Alzheimer's disease is the 6th leading cause of death in the country, and it's affecting almost 7 million Americans, including 110,000 people here in Wisconsin. UW-Madison is working hard to improve the lives of those affected, offering resources to educate and the latest in research and technology. The UW initiative to end Alzheimer's has so many ways you can benefit, learn, get involved, and make a difference. Visit goalsforacure.org. That's goalsforacure.org.
Live from the all-new Iron Jock Studios, built by Rima Remodel, this is No BS with Billy and Sarnia.
I've waited for this. I'm so excited.
On the Game.
As that music will have you thinking about Badgers football as well as basketball. Badger football fans know that quarterback Billy Edwards Jr. going to join the Mike Heller Show later on here today at 1:20. Boys get an off day for spring practice. No off day for Billy Edwards. He's going to join the Mike Heller Show.
That's right.
And listen, Billy's going to be working out here today. That's going to be a workout. They're going to ask him tough questions, some fun questions.
On the table.
Couple of table slams.
On the Heller Show.
Hopefully Billy Edwards has a couple of those in.
Yep.
Hopefully he's ready to, debate maybe replay and some NIL conversations. No, there's going to be a lot of good Badgers football conversation. What are the boys working on in spring? And I'm excited to hear from Billy Edwards Jr. Most excited to hear from the Hall of Fame voice of the Wisconsin Badgers, Matt LePay, as he has descended upon Denver, Colorado for rounds 1 and 2. Can we call it the first and second round? Are they doing that? Or are they doing the stupid second and third round call once again here? Are we calling it the second and third round, even though it's not here once again in the NCAA tournament?
I think they changed that.
Thank goodness.
Thank goodness. Finally.
Our champion sponsors, Coca-Cola, AT&T, were able to get that one done. Matt, first round, first game out the chute. How was shoot around here today? And I know the day is long as you get ready for tomorrow's tip.
Yeah, they'll be coming in here a little later this morning, and it is first round, Billy. It says
Thank
so
God.
right on the baseline here. So yeah,
Yes.
they fixed that a few years ago, finally. So yeah, you can always count on people in intercollegiate athletics to take the simple and make it complicated. But I think they went back to a more simple, common sense term here. But yeah, they will. The teams will be coming in here in the next less than an hour or so to have their open practices, media sessions, and then Wisconsin, and I'm sure everybody else here will go off and have their real practice at undisclosed locations throughout the Denver area. So no, this is it's good. It never gets old. I mean, these guys have been in it a whole lot more often than not, 24 of the last 26 tournaments, but it's always a first for somebody or a group of players, so that's what keeps it fresh, I think, for all concerned.
Well, I'm glad you mentioned that because my first thought is, how do you think the guys that haven't been there are going to handle the idea that, okay, we're in this against Montana, a team we believe we should win, a team we believe we will win. I think everyone thinks that, but you still have to go out and do it. Upsets happen in the NCAA tournament every year. You just want to avoid being that team. So is it hard to stay vigilant for those guys, or do you think they all know as a collective group, look, this is the NCAA tournament. If we don't play well against any one of these teams, we can get beat. So we have to be ready to go out and play our best game.
Yeah, probably the latter, Harmon. I think there just have been far too many examples, including 2 occasions where a 16 has beaten a 1. That tells you vividly that any team you play can beat you. Particularly if you shoot 22% from the field like Wisconsin did on Sunday against Michigan. 22% and still had a chance in the last minute to win it.
Right.
So they were doing some other things pretty well. But yeah, they're just, and we have seen this, people every year talk about the parity in college basketball. Well, Shaka Smart took VCU to the Final Four. We've seen George Mason to the Final Four, Wichita State, San Diego State a few years ago, not long ago at all, a couple years ago. So there have been enough examples of these programs that most of us know little, if anything, about, who can rise up for a game or 2 or 4 or 5. So that should have everybody's attention on this Wisconsin team going into tomorrow.
Matt LePay joining us here as the Badgers get ready for the first round up against Montana tomorrow afternoon. You'll hear that game right here on the Game in many of these same stations. Matt, so much was made of the draw and where and the location and the time. And I know you joined Mike on Monday and talked about maybe being more surprised. All right, well, we're not in Milwaukee. Okay, first game on Thursday. All right, cool. Coach Gard has not allowed it to be a conversation, right? He's saying all the right things. We're into the dance. We're just happy to be here. Do you get a sense that we're happy that we get to play right away, outweighing we would have liked a little bit of rest? Because they're in a good groove right now, and a team that runs on momentum might want to just keep that roll going, if that makes some sense.
That seems to be their approach, Billy, and it probably has to be, because what other choice is there? Because as I was telling Mike the other day, the bottom line is nobody cares.
Correct.
You got to go play when they tell you to play. And they've had a couple of quick turnarounds in past years where they've played on Sunday and then played again on Thursday. And then I think in both of those occasions, they did advance through the first weekend and got to the Sweet 16. It's been a minute since they've been in that situation. But it was, I think it's fair to say, it was a surprise, because a lot of people who are, the bracketologists had Wisconsin playing in Milwaukee. And then it was one thing to play on Thursday, it's the other to be first up. But, I've been with teams that have been first up, and I've been with teams that have tipped at 10 o'clock at night. And I think all things equal, you'd probably just rather get up and go play the game. So they will do everything they can to make this a positive. And they're smart. The technology with rest and recovery and all that stuff is so much better than what it used to be. I would be pretty surprised if anybody used fatigue as an excuse if they don't play well tomorrow against Montana.
Yeah, in that same vein, I don't think, tell me if I'm wrong, I don't think Greg Gard is going into Ball Arena with his altimeter like all Norman Dale and Hoosiers when he measured the 10 feet and the 10 feet, talking about altitude. I haven't heard so much about altitude from Badger fans in the last 3 days. I mean, is there any sense that they're changing, any sort of practice schedule or anything to get adjusted to altitude? Or is that something fans make a bigger deal out of than players and coaches?
Well, I was asking Butchie about it because he spent some time in the Nuggets organization,
right?
And it is real. It is real, but then it goes back and forth. Like, do you come out last minute, which is not really an option here? You usually come out 2 days early. Do you come out extra early? You're going to hear a horn here in a couple seconds, but
let's go.
Come
on.
I love actually.
There it is. Horns are working well here at Ball Arena. Let me tell you.
Right.
So I mean, everybody goes back and forth with that. I think it is real, but the bigger deal you make of it, the more of a problem it could be. So you're hoping they're young, they're in great shape, and they'll be okay with it. Teams have been coming to Denver for quite a while now in various sports, but it's
right.
just. As Drew and KB say, what's our favorite pastime? Bitching and moaning.
Amen.
But, that's just kind of what this is. Just go play the game, because again, I keep going back. Nobody cares. Go play and see if you can get yourself in a position to advance to Saturday, and then whoever you draw there, push through. This team has had too good of a year to fall back on something. Quick turn. You're playing an altitude. Go play the game, and if you want to use it as a chip privately,
sure,
go for it. But just go play the game and advance and prove to everybody else why you're a 26-win team entering this tournament.
Yeah, bitching and moaning is our national pastime. It's the one thing that we keep getting better at. Like, as a society, we just continually get better at complaining. There's no complaints for the atmosphere. It's always an energetic day. Matt, what's this like for you? Now, it's game one, so you and Butchie won't get to give me the score updates on the game before, kind of like Michigan State on that Friday, where you guys were very, very cool saying that the game was over. However, certain people really needed to know if they won by 6.5 or 6 or more. In the midst there, how much easier is it being the first or the third game, like the first game of a session? You're bouncing all back and forth. This is why you get into the business, to call big games. But how much fun is it being a little bit out of your comfort zone?
No, it is fun, and it is. I'd be lying if I said I didn't have butterflies, but they're butterflies for this team. I want to see this team do well, and it's still, in having the first game, for us, selfishly as a broadcast nerd, it's good. That avoids a 2-hour network pregame show, which we've had a couple of those. Like Butchie and Chris Foster's had that in West Virginia.
Yes, it happens.
It does happen. I've had some long ones, so this one we know it's going to start at 12:30 Central. So that's a beautiful thing. The one thing, though, and Heller and I were talking about this on Monday, because it is the first game, you can come into these environments where there's not a whole lot of atmosphere. It's not like you're walking into Mackey Arena or Fiserv Forum for a Wisconsin Marquette game. What'll happen is people will watch, and the longer the game is close, the more Wisconsin is going to be the road team. Most of us are assuming that BYU is going to be very well represented here. I'm sure the BYU fans will be very much rooting for Montana just because. So that's one of those things that over the years, if you're first up or last up, but you're going to have likely not a ton of energy in here to start the game because it is the first game. But the longer it's close, as more people file in, then that could become an issue. Even though the Badgers have the home unis, they're not going to be the home team if this is close with 5 minutes left.
Yeah, no doubt. I mean, that's just what it is in the tournament. Neutral fans tend to root for Cinderella. Have you gotten a sense that the Badger fan contingent, and maybe it's a little early, they'll arrive tonight. Have you anecdotally got a sense of how many Badger fans have made the trip, or if there's any school well represented more than you thought or less than you thought?
Well, I'm thinking BYU will be well represented. Butchie insists there are a lot of Wisconsin folks out there now. The in-laws live out here. His bride is from here. But in his time with the Nuggets organization, he believes that there are a lot of Wisconsin folks out here. By the time we got to the hotel, it was a little bit after 6, and us being responsible adults, it was an early dinner and wrapped it up. So we really didn't get out amongst the folks downtown. So it'll be interesting to see. My guess is they'll be pretty well represented. They tend to. The alumni base is large, so I would think that there will be a pretty decent rooting contingent here. I'll also tell you with the locals, I've already been stopped by 2 of them and asking, "What's going on here? Well, what's the Wisconsin? What's the W?
Well, there you go.
Awesome.
All right.
That is good.
Little different vibe from Indianapolis, where everybody knows what's going on here.
Yeah.
It's who are the Broncos going to draft? And what's up with Joker? Let's go.
Oh man, it's a fantastic environment. It's a great city. It's one of my favorite ones around. Now, listen, all due respect to Providence and Lexington, I think Badger fans would much rather travel to Denver. Like, I think out of all the places to go to, it slaps the taste out of Wichita State's mouth. Like, I mean, Wichita, Kansas, not holding the jock of Denver. So it's a good, it's a good trip, good spot to get to, and it's an easy one. Matt, in the midst of all of this, you say you're more feeling the butterflies for the team. How do you feel like the team has dealt with some of the adversity throughout the year? The nerves. Obviously, John gets voted second team All-American. There's a lot of eyes. How do you feel like they're utilizing this as just more excitement, or are they feeling a little bit of the nerves and the pressure?
I sense more of the former. We'll see if these games if tomorrow is close or however many games they play. But they do seem to be, the practices, you wouldn't know what happened the game before when you walk into a practice. They still, they play the music, they're bouncing around, they genuinely like being around each other. It's a pretty good group that way. And you got enough goofiness on the team to help keep things light. And, guys like Kamari McGee's always in a good mood, always chatty, and Carter Gilmore. And it's a pretty good mix of personalities on this team that makes it work. So I don't think that, if this team loses, it's not because the moment was too big. My thing I'm watching with this team is it isn't shooting straight, with the exception of the UCLA game. It has not shot the 3 nearly as well as it has the bulk of the season. But now we're talking a stretch of 8 or 9 games where they just have not shot the 3-point shot very well, with that notable exception against UCLA. So maybe a game like this, because Montana is a smaller team, you might be able to get more done at the rim. But you still want to see this team. They love to shoot the threes. You want to see them knock down those shots at a better clip than what they've done lately.
Our friend Brian Butch loves big men. Good day for Steven Crowell and company. Just get inside and just bang around a little.
I think so too.
Just dwarf the Montana long
big.
cut.
Yeah.
Sorry, Grizz. The Montana Grizz. Some people think a long cut when they think, and then maybe pouches, whatever it is. It's Montana Grizzlies. That's what their handle is tomorrow, and the handle that the Wisconsin Badgers will have on those young men is going to be vast. 16.5-point spread at some institutions, not the Potawatomi Sportsbook. Can't do it here in the state, but very, very excited for the game and all those brackets that people have penciled in for the Badgers to go all the way to the Final Four. This guy will author all of those moments. He's Matt LePay joining us here on No BS. Matt, appreciate it. Butchie has plenty of places to go and get a couple of cold ones, but he did say he was buying, so make sure you take him up on that offer and enjoy a couple after the victory tomorrow.
Yeah, he didn't last night. So, yeah, I'll take him up on that. By the way, interesting little side note for this game, boys. Max Klesmit and Austin Patterson. Austin Patterson from Montana. Both are Wofford transfers. They were teammates, and I believe they were roommates.
Interesting.
Small world of college basketball. So there's a little clash of former buddies tomorrow here in Denver, Colorado. And Butchie will be buying tonight.
Better.
I don't even know if he knows it, but he will be because he owes me. Quite frankly, he owes me. So we're in.
Best way to do it is just get his room number and charge it to his room, and you're good to go. You know?
No, you just say when the check comes, you just say, "Hey, Brian."
Oh, they can do that too. Yeah.
You just say, "Hey, thanks in advance, man. Appreciate you, Matt. We always appreciate you. Have a great call, and we'll be listening all weekend long."
All right, boys. Take care. Have a good one.
There he is, Matt LePay, hanging out with us here from Denver. I'm excited to see Butchie's face. I wish they would have a camera on Butchie's face when that happens because he is buying tonight. He didn't realize it. He didn't know that he offered, but he did. And Matt LePay deserves it. Hall of Famer joining us here on No BS.
Butch is the type of guy to get you a meal, and it's just the media meal. Like, hey,
what a Hall of Fame nugget dropping in. A couple of former Wofford roommates going to go at it in round one while the Terriers are also in the tournament.
It's got to be an interesting thing. You know, we don't think about that as fans sometimes, the relationships guys have. And as NIL era and the portal era keeps progressing, there's going to be more of these interactions as time goes on. The AAU stuff, people
it ain't going anywhere.
Yeah, it's really interesting, man. That's some bragging rights right there.
We got a official notice from the NFL that the Packers have put in the conversation to ban the tush push. There's another rule change from an NFC North team in the NFL that I want to get to on the other side. Parlay of the day, 25 minutes away from right now. Justin Arnett from Potawatomi Sportsbook also joins us in hour number 3. We're back before then right here. No BS on the game. Hey guys, Billy Schmidt, grab your phone and your dancing shoes. It's time to make some pick'em entries on Underdog for March college basketball. Nothing beats March basketball, and nothing beats the Underdog Fantasy app, one of the leading sports apps in America, and you can now play in our state. Their pick'em game allows you to pick higher or lower on your favorite player stats. Points, rebounds, assists, threes made, double-doubles, first half points. They have so many statistics to choose from, and you can play for as little as only $1, and if you get everything right, you can win up to 1,000 times your money. Do that math. So you can turn $1 into $1,000 just with your hoops knowledge this March. The best time to play. Millions of fans have already won billions making picks on Underdog. So join them. Download the Underdog app, sign up using promo code Billy, and unlock a special offer of up to $1,000 in bonus cash when you make your first deposit. Join in on the fun when you sign up using promo code Billy. Claim a special offer today and get up to $1,000 in bonus cash instantly upon your first deposit. 18 plus, 19 plus in Alabama and Nebraska, 19 plus in Colorado for some games, 21 plus in Arizona and Massachusetts. And present in a state where Underdog Fantasy operates. Terms apply. Void in Colorado. Concerned with your play? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. Visit www.ncpgambling.org. In Arizona, call 1-800-NEXT-STEP or text NEXT-STEP to 53342. In New York, call the 24/7 HOPE line at 1-877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY.
Drew Wilson here for Pep's Draft House Pizza, the official pizza of the Timeout Sports Lounge and the Drew and KB Show. When you're hungry for a pizza, take it to the house and pair your favorite beer for a true Draft House experience at home. With 3 crust options, original hand-tossed, crunchy thin crust, and new rising crust options, it's easy to live your best frozen pizza life with Pep's Draft House Pizza. My personal favorite is the Brawlin' Buffalo Chicken paired with an American Pale Ale. The perfect combination, delivering a knockout punch you won't be able to resist.
Listeners are always asking me about QC Kinetics treatments. They want to know if they should consider it for their joint pain. If you're wondering if you are a good candidate, let's see how you answer these questions. First, is your quality of life impacted by the chronic pain in your knees, hips, shoulder, or other joints? You have trouble sleeping, walking, day in and day out movement? Next, do you want to avoid surgery and all of the pain, long recovery, and uncertainty that comes with it? And most importantly, do you miss doing things that you love because joint pain is consistently holding you back? Like walking, golfing, jogging. If you answered yes to any of these, I'd bet you're a great candidate. So don't wait. Call QC Kinetics right now and ask for a free consultation. Learn about these latest advancements in regenerative medicine and how they can get you lasting relief with no drugs, no surgery, and no downtime. Call QC Kinetics for a free consultation. Saturday appointments now available. It's 414-285-3474. That's 414-285-3474. QC Kinetics, 414-285-3474.
Our daughter Jessie loves playing detective.
A clue.
But since we discovered she has sensitive skin, we've been playing detective too.
We thought the problem was our puppy.
But it was actually our old detergent.
Aha.
So we switched to Tide Free and Gentle. Tide Free and Gentle provides an excellent Tide clean, and it doesn't leave behind irritating residues like dyes or perfumes, so it's gentle on your skin.
Case closed.
If it's got to be clean, it's got to be Tide Free and Gentle.
This is the story of the one. As a quality technician in a food processing center, she knows that making the right call is the best way to avoid a recall. That's why she trusts Grainger's world-class supply chain to deliver the high-quality supplies she needs to help keep her production line, her equipment, and her customers happy and healthy. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Grab your phone and your dancing shoes. It's time to make some entries for March College basketball with Underdog. Hey, it's Billy Schmidt. Nothing beats March basketball. Bring the fun of a bracket to every game by making entries on Underdog's Pick'em game. Do you want to win up to 1,000 times your money? You can with Underdog. Simply pick higher or lower on your favorite player stats, whether it's points, assists, rebounds, and more. Create entries of all basketball picks this March, or mix and match across your favorite sports. You can play for as little as $1, and if you get everything right, you can win up to 1,000 times your money. Download the Underdog app and sign up using promo code Billy to unlock a special offer of up to $1,000 in bonus cash when you make your first deposit. Join in on the fun when you sign up using promo code Billy. Claim your special offer today of up to $1,000 in bonus cash instantly upon your first deposit. Must be 18 plus, 19 plus in Alabama and Nebraska, 19 plus in Colorado for some games, 21 plus in Arizona and Massachusetts, and present in a state where Underdog Fantasy operates. Terms apply. Void in Colorado. Concerned with your play? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. Visit www.ncpgambling.org. In Arizona, call 1-800-NEXT-STEP or text NEXT STEP to 53342. In New York, call the 24/7 Hope line at 1-877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY.
As of 9 a.m. this morning, our EV trucking company is officially in operation.
Andrew's zero-emission trucks are driving the transportation category forward.
We'll make driving safer, easier, and less stressful. Now our technology needs to keep up with demand.
He needs to put pedal to the metal on hiring more software engineers.
I need Indeed.
Indeed you do. When you sponsor a job on Indeed, it's easier for talented candidates to find it, which makes it easier for you to hire them. Visit Indeed.com/credit and get $75 towards your first sponsored job. Terms and conditions apply.
The Fox 6 weather experts are presented by AdventKnows.com.
Rain showers on the way for this morning with rain and thunderstorms likely this afternoon. Much stronger wind this evening as a wind advisory kicks in at 7 p.m. We'll start to transition to snow late evening and overnight tonight as we drop from the mid-40s into the upper 20s. I'm Fox 6 Chief Meteorologist Rob Haswell.
This report is sponsored by Badger Injury Law.
Here in Wisconsin, we stand up for what's right. We fight for justice and aren't afraid of anyone who gets in our way. A Badger never backs down. And at Badger Injury Law, neither do we. Get the Badger on your side and visit badgerinjurylaw.com today.
Drew and KB here. Join us at 3 o'clock. We got a packed Wednesday show for you. We're going to catch up with our buddy Adam Pavlak, Chef to the Stars.
And we're going to talk to Kelly Call, producer of the 82 Brewers documentary, Matt LePay from Denver, and John Greenberg.
Join us at 3. Drew and KB.
All I do is win, no matter what. Got money on my mind.
All we do is lose in the parlay of the day currently. That could always change. Make sure you're here in 20 minutes when we fire one up at the Potawatomi Sportsbook to be a part of it when it does change. Because the tide is going to turn. There are going to be victories, and you're going to be wanting to win, like T-Pain just said, here on No BS with Billy and Sarian on the game. All right. The NFL Competition Committee unveils their different proposals for rule changes in the NFL, Armin, next week. This week, club proposals become official and get put in front of the voters, in front of owners. And we did get some clarification and some verification from Tom Pelissero, amongst others of the national media contingent. But Tom Pelissero, NFL Network. Tom Pelissero just gets something from the league office. Boom. All right. Tom Pelissero tweet this thing.
Tends to happen.
All of those deals that the league makes sure that they got to get out. Seemingly, Tom Pelissero gets those ones right out of the gates. Okay. So he did put out the NFL distributed club rule change proposals, including the Packers' formal proposal to ban the tush push or brotherly shove. He adds the competition committee, whose ideas generally have a better chance of being adopted, will reveal its proposal coming up next week. Not necessarily for that, but amongst others, sounds like the competition committee will have something on this, which I think would put to bed some of the people just bashing the Green Bay Packers for being the only ones. There are other teams that wanted this to be discussed, and I think it will be. I like this one, though. There's a couple of rule changes that are fantastic. The one proposal we got to hold until Mike Heller gets here.
Oh, I can't wait for that one.
Got to hold until Mike Heller gets here because he is just tickled pink that this is a part of the conversation. Tom Pelissero writes, the Lions have submitted a proposal to eliminate automatic first downs for defensive holding and illegal contact. Not changing what illegal contact is, not changing what would categorize as defensive holding, but would take away the automatic first down for a 5-yard penalty. Would you be in favor?
Well, there are times you wonder with certain rules in the NFL and certain rules in the field if they are too penal, right? If they are more, punishment that fits the crime. I don't know about that one because I think those are preventing a lot of big plays. So in this case, I don't think I would be in favor of that because I think it should be sort of penal because you are preventing teams from being able to get big plays, right? And if you're doing that, it could change the game. So in this case, I wouldn't be in favor of it. If I had a great secondary or an aggressive secondary, I might be in favor of it.
It makes sense why the Lions are. They have a very aggressive secondary.
But personally, I'm not. No.
Now I am. I think it's the right move. I also think offensive holding should be a 5-yard penalty. I think those should be even, and I don't think it should be an automatic first down. I think pass interference absolutely should be because I think what you're saying too is ball in the air, deep route, contacting the receiver, that ends up being automatic first down. I like spot of the ball too. Unlike college where it's only a 15, I prefer spot of the ball for the big play ones. This one, I think you would somewhat even out the massive advantage that offenses have in the rule. Don't think it's going to happen. This one might. From the world champion Philadelphia Eagles. They proposed an idea that already has some traction, according to Pelissero, applying the current postseason overtime rules to regular season games. So both teams would have the opportunity to possess the football, even if a touchdown is scored by the first team.
Right.
And the second team would be able to then win it first chance at sudden death with a touchdown and 2-point conversion.
That could have legs. I think I'm in favor of that more so. Yeah.
Hopefully all teams know the rules.
You would think so.
Hopefully all the teams actually know the rules, unlike maybe the 49ers did.
You would hope so, but hey, don't put – you're asking for too much there, Billy.
You might be asking for too much there. Obviously, we'll know when those things go down, and you'll know because we'll talk about it here on the game if they get ratified. But interesting. And then there's one other one that the Lions threw in that I can't wait to discuss with Mike Heller when we hand it off to him in about an hour from right now. What I really can't wait for is Doug Russell's update on the other side for us to walk up to the kiosk at the Potawatomi Sportsbook. And I'm going to get confident that we're going to win the parlay of the day by the time we get there. Also going to talk to Justin Arnett, VP of Digital Gaming from Potawatomi Sportsbook on the other side. Loaded up hour 3. We better get to it. It's no BS on the game.
No matter what, got money on my mind, I can never get it up. And every time I step up in the building, everybody hands go up.
Blackwell inside, and he sends it down with the right hand.
The Badgers head west for a first-round matchup Thursday in Denver against Montana. Pre-game with Matt and Butchie at 11:30. Tip-off at 12:30. On your home for the Badgers in the NCAA tournament. 97.3 The Game.
Listeners are always asking me about QC Kinetics treatments. They want to know if they should consider it for their joint pain. If you're wondering if you are a good candidate, let's see how you answer these questions. First, is your quality of life impacted by the chronic pain in your knees, hips, shoulder, or other joints? You have trouble sleeping, walking, day in and day out movement? Next, do you want to avoid surgery and all of the pain, long recovery, and uncertainty that comes with it? And most importantly, do you miss doing things that you love because joint pain is consistently holding you back? Like walking, golfing, jogging. If you answered yes to any of these, I'd bet you're a great candidate. So don't wait. Call QC Kinetics right now.
NFL and certain rules in the field, if they are too penal, right? If they are more,
and how they can get you lasting relief with no drugs, no surgery, and no downtime. Call QC Kinetics for a free consultation. Saturday appointments now available. It's 414-285-3474. That's 414-285-3474. QC Kinetics, 414-285-3474.
In almost every case, when Advent has solved a breathing triangle problem, it is a one and done. Because we don't want you to be a lifelong patient. We want you to be our next success story.
You know what really gets me? A man who knows how to stay fresh. No matter how hard he works, how much he sweats, he's always clean, always irresistible. That's why I love a man in Iron Jaw. Their gear doesn't just fit, it hugs all the right places. And the best part? No odor.
NFL and certain rules in the field, if
So
they are
guys,
too penal.
If you want to leave a lasting impression without the lasting odor, slip into Iron Jack. Trust me, we'll notice. Shop again, and again at ironjoc.com.
Warshawski's Victor Harding, Best Lawyers Product Liability Attorney of the Year, achieves maximum compensation.
Best Lawyers Complex Litigation Lawyer of the Year, Warshawski's Frank Cravello achieves maximum injury compensation.
Injured?
It is about the money.
Warshawski.com.
2 bands, 1 night. Bachman Turner Overdrive. The Marshall Tucker Band. Roll on down the Highway 2025 tour. July 24th, Neuroscience Group Field in Appleton. With special guest Jefferson Starship. A night of vintage PTO. A night of classic Marshall Tucker Band. Reserve seats on sale now at timberrattlers.com and Timber Rattlers box office.
Brother man, you ever get the Sunday scaries?
Sunday scaries?
Yeah, you stay up half the night on Sunday because you're worried about the upcoming week.
I used to, but not anymore. Not now that I found Happy Place Hemp Delta 8 gummies. I take one about an hour before bedtime and I sleep like a baby. But I'm not the only one. One smart, good-looking listener texted us and said they started taking the gummies for their anxiety. Now they're more relaxed. They get a good night's sleep. No more tossing and turning.
And now listeners can go to happyplacehemp.com, use the promo code DrewKB, and get 25% off their order. Can't beat that with a stick.
Happyplacehemp.com, promo code DrewKB.
I'm at the movies, asking people if they'll switch seats with me for $574.
Here, take mine.
So what about $574 if you switch your home insurance to Allstate?
Too much work.
Not if you call them. They handle the switching.
Now, that's a plot twist.
Shh. Check Allstate first, and you could save hundreds on quality home insurance today. You're in good hands with Allstate.
Not available in every state. Based on the national average annual savings for new home insurance customers surveyed in 2023 who switched to Allstate and reported savings. Savings vary.
Prescriptions require an online consultation with a healthcare provider who will determine if appropriate. Restrictions apply. See website for details and important safety information. Price varies based on product and subscription plan.
Hey guys, let's talk ED because millions of men experience it, but not everyone can access or afford treatments like Viagra. Hims can help. Through Hims.com, you can access a full range of treatment options for ED through a 100% online process. To start your free online visit and save up to 95%, go to Hims.com/joy. HIMS.com/JOY.
Find what you love what you find. A Total Wine and More. There's so much waiting for you. Spirits
Sort of penal because you are preventing teams from being able to get big plays, right? And if you're doing that, it could change the game. So in this case, I wouldn't. If I had a great secondary or an aggressive secondary, I think it should be sort of penal because you are.
With curbside pickup and delivery available, you'll always find what you love only at Total Wine and More.
Drink responsibly, B21.
I had the worst dream
I think
last
it should
night.
be
We were
sort
in a
of
car
penal
crash, and
because-
the kids and I were on our own. We had to move out of the house because I couldn't afford it anymore.
That's awful, huh?
My brother got life insurance from Ethos, and it only took 10 minutes. And he got $2 million in coverage for around $2 a day. It's all online, no medical exam. He just answered a few health questions right from his house.
Ethos, here we come.
Visit ethos.com/sports. Ethos.com/sports.
Sample rate is a 10-year term life policy for 35-year-old healthy, non-smoking male. Billed monthly.
You just realized your business needed to hire someone yesterday. How can you find amazing candidates fast? Easy. Just use Indeed. Start at Indeed.com/credit.
Number 1 on your car radio preset and the new and improved iHeartRadio app. This is WRNW-FM Milwaukee. 97.3 The Game. There is no BS with Screamin' Sicilian Premium Craft Frozen Pizza. Find it in your local grocer's freezer and taste what all the screaming is about.
He's very knowledgeable, very intelligent guy, very personable guy.
Here's Doug Russell.
March Madness has officially begun. We'll get to last night's play-in games, not playoff games. Good grief. Well, I guess they're all playoff games when you think about it.
Dang right they are, Dougie.
But the Badgers, they are in the Mile High City for tomorrow's early tip-off against Montana. Coach Greg Gard, he's been doing a crash course on the Grizzlies.
They're experienced players, old players, fundamentally sound, tough, exactly what you'd expect getting a champion out of a league like that. So, said I can remind everyone, specifically my players, you don't take this for granted. I mean, this is a special time, and we get a team that has earned their way here and earned their way to this seed, and we're looking forward to getting out to Denver and then playing on Thursday morning.
Tip-off is in about 24 hours and 25 minutes.
Start the countdown. They don't have to wait. The nice thing about being the early game, and you mentioned it with Matt, is you don't have to wait around for the other games to end.
Or 25 hours and 20.
And that thought of like, sure, the extra little rest would be nice. If it was you had the chance to play the last game of the day or the first game of the day, I'm taking the first game
Absolutely.
of the day 100 times out of 10.
You don't want to wait around all day.
I don't want to wait till 9 o'clock to tip off. And people are
that is hard.
3 quarters in the bag, snoozing after the under 12 media timeout in the first quarter. At first half. You need to, the energy will be different, but you need to crank that thing up.
And the reality is, we can say it, the players can, but especially a game you know you should win. Okay? A game you know you should win, you want to get out there and do it. Now, look, there's no
talk about Kai Johnson like that.
There's no guarantee. Listen, there's no guarantees the NCAA tournament.
11.1 points per game. And he was walking through that door from Olympia, Washington. He's ready to ball out.
I mean, listen, I understand what you're saying, and there's a team. There are going to be teams that get upset every year. You've got to be vigilant because you don't want to be that team.
And you don't want to be that team if you're Marquette, if you're Armin Sarian. They get to watch most of the first round before their Friday night tip-off in Cleveland, to your point, Billy. They've got New Mexico, freshman Royce Parham.
It's win or go home. So any game, if you start out slow, that could change anything. Like, it doesn't matter if they're not as good as you. Every single game now on, you have to go and win the game, or else you go home and your season's over with.
So yes, but unlike most other players, Royce Parham actually has a national championship under his belt. He was the MVP of the National Prep Championship last year for Western Reserve in Ohio.
That's right.
Oh, okay.
Winning mentality, winning DNA,
so
right?
He's the one with the championship pedigree.
I love that. Okay. That's another elite nugget right there, Doug. I love that. I love having somebody that has the pelt on the wall. Also, your boy Parham's playing. He's out there.
Oh, yeah.
He's getting some run.
Going to have to make some shots. Going to have to be big tomorrow because, Ben Gold's the other
couple
big
of high
man.
fives, you and Luis, about some Parham plays while we were at the Marquette Providence game.
Need him to be a factor, And the thing is, I'll be honest with you guys, doing the deep dive into New Mexico, it's nightmare fuel. The way they defend the pick and roll, they're one of the best pick and roll defensive teams this year. Marquette loves to run the pick and roll.
Oh, no.
It's a scary thought. Marquette's going to have to make shots tomorrow. The reality is, when they're there, they're going to have to make shots.
Ball's got to go in the
they got to go in the
hole.
It only counts when the ball goes in the basket.
All the way through.
You got to be at your best, and a lot of that is 3-point variance, which at this time of the year sets legacies, and people don't want to react to that or accept it, but it is. It's nightmare fuel. When you start looking at their pick and roll defense, the one thing is New Mexico.
Stop looking at their pick and roll defense.
Fair enough. They love
don't
pace.
run all pick and roll.
They love pace, and we're going to slow them down. So this is going to be a very interesting chess match between Shaka and Richard.
All right, let's get to the play-in games. The first one was a thriller, 70-68. So St. Francis, they're the first one out of the NCAA tournament. And then there's the late game. It wasn't close, but it had its own drama.
Cadeau on the run, throws it to Davis, right wing three. It's good. R.J. Davis is 6 for 6. The first Carolina player in NCAA tournament history to go 6 for 6 from 3. He has tied the single-game NCAA tournament three-pointer record in Tar Heels history. He has 26 nearly flawless points, and it's been nothing but Carolina blue in Dayton tonight.
95-68, as heard on Westwood One.
They heard everybody, I think.
Bubba got into that locker room and he had a conversation.
Bubba was happy.
Listen, all right. I got out of I had a pretzel in the break room while they were discussing you guys getting in here, and I totally didn't grease the pallets to make sure that we got in here. You guys better make me right. Better make me right, Hubert Davis. Go in there and do what you do and win tournament games. That's exactly what they did.
Meanwhile, they are seething in West Virginia.
Yeah, North Carolina showed the threat of what they are, which is a talented team that at any given night can go off. They don't have a great quad one record, obviously, this year. But if they do what they did last night, which is make all their shots, they're going to be fine. I got news for you. If RJ Davis
that 3-point variance was right there.
That's a great, and last night was a great example of it. If RJ Davis doesn't miss a 3 again, that's great coaching by Hubert Davis. I want you boys to go out and make all your shots.
That is great coaching.
Kind of what happened yesterday.
I don't want him to gain.
Listen,
we'll get to see him in the first round here in Milwaukee. They play Ole Miss.
They played motivated. They played motivated yesterday. There's no doubt about it. Let's see what happens with Ole Miss.
Yeah, I don't know how motivated the Bucks were last night. They had very little offensive cohesion. They lose to the Warriors at the Chase Center, 104-93. Here's Doc.
Turn the ball over, foul Jimmy Butler. I mean, I love Jimmy, but he's got to make the threes. Like we talked about it before the game, like don't foul him, especially behind the 3-point line. We actually showed Denver fouled him yesterday. behind the three. We're breaking too many things that just can't happen.
Yeah, can't happen. Coach Doc Rivers' team plays the Lakers in downtown LA tomorrow night.
He's spot on. Make Jimmy Butler make some threes. I'm like, don't be giving him that nonsense. I also, Doc last night was just losing his mind on the sidelines. Watching Doc on the sidelines is a event in and of itself, especially when the game is going as up and down as last night's was.
Just a game of runs.
He gave a couple of fist pumps you could see during that long run in the third quarter, and then the surrender cobras that he throws up are just just next level. I love watching Doc on the sideline. I'd really like watching the team win.
Yeah, I would like that
cover a lot more. But you know what? That's going to happen.
Yeah,
they're going to happen. Those are going to have a much better time for it. And listen, you just can't let Jimmy Butler. You're not going to see Jimmy Butler, luckily, in a playoff series this year, and I'm happy about that because that son of a gun turns into prime Jordan every single time there's a Bucks jersey on the other
There's
side.
something about it. He does play well against it. He just turns it on in the playoffs when games matter. He's a mercenary like that. He's really has that ability to do it. So unless the Bucks make the finals, of course, maybe we'll see him in the finals.
Let's not make him sound grander than he is with a mercenary. All right, let's not make him sound greater than he is.
But he just had that ability to just turn on his game sometimes, and it's just a weird thing. Don't you agree? I don't know. I mean,
he can absolutely. I just see it mostly against the Bucks.
I know it's frustrating.
Yeah. I've watched him turn into a pumpkin again, even in the same playoffs after he goes off for multiple 50 pieces against one of your best defenders in franchise history in Drew Holiday, and my man can't make shots in the Boston series. So
he's just motivated against us for some reason.
Against here,
right?
Dougie,
yeah,
sorry for that outburst.
Yeah, that's okay. I understand. Sometimes you got to work it out.
God, that guy aggravates me so much. There's not many people.
That's why the Bucks should have gotten him. They should have gone all Quintana on him.
I can't figure it out. There's certain guys that have brought me so much joy watching play at Marquette and had so much fun watching him at that time, and then bring me so much anger later in life. He might be at the top of that list.
He probably is. I mean, there are certain guys that just become killers. And the Brewer, like I just mentioned, Jose Quintana, he's one of them. Joey Votto used to murder the Brewers.
Kill the
Brewers. Absolutely. Paul Goldschmidt.
Jay Bruce.
Randy Moss.
Jay Bruce.
Jay Bruce was maybe the one that never made any sense for me.
Randy Moss. I mean, obviously Suppan. We always had trouble with.
All right, but you're now also talking about great players.
Yeah,
first ballot Hall of Fame player.
Well,
that
was Suppan, but Suppan killed us on both sides.
You're right.
Randy Moss is not a part of this conversation. We're talking about like Jimmy Butler,
Bruce,
better than a marginal player, but it's like, come on, dude.
Yeah, it's like I get it. It's like saying LeBron was a Bucks killer. Right? He's
It was though. I mean, there was a time when he went off for 26 consecutive points against the Bucks.
But he doesn't play here anymore, so he hasn't played here in 3 years.
Yeah, I can't.
Billy was sad about that. He was disappointed.
I was only a little sad and quite hurt. Dougie,
Michael Jordan would have played.
No, he wouldn't.
Wow.
You know what he actually would have been doing? He would have been swinging and missing at sliders at AA. Don't get me into that.
Here we go.
Dougie,
again.
fantastic contributions
Thanks,
as well.
boys.
We'll be talking. That is Doug Russell from the Update Studio. This is No BS with Billy and Sarian on the game. You can always join at 877-794-1973. NicoletLaw.com talk and text line is available. And now joining us on that NicoletLaw.com talk and text line is Justin Arnett, VP of Digital Gaming at the Potawatomi Sportsbook. Bet big, bet bold, bet above the rest, and get there to play coming up this weekend. Starting up tomorrow, Justin, I know the energy had to have been awesome last night for that game winner in the play-in game, but do you believe the tournament starts last night with the first four, or are you like most of America, you really start paying attention, really believe it starts up tomorrow at about 11 o'clock?
I'm a tomorrow guy, 100%.
Thank you.
Through and through. I don't care about the play-in games myself.
They're tough to really care that much about. Now, I will say this, and I said it earlier this week, you put all the at-large teams and take the 16s out of the equation, I think people would care a lot more. Then I got egg on my face where the 16 game was the only one that was competitive, and last night North Carolina just runs it off the sheet. It's going to be a massive day coming up for tomorrow. Do you guys expect action to hammer in tomorrow, or are you already seeing action for Thursday and Friday coming in and leaking through all week long?
Well, it's been busy, leading up because, the championship weeks are like an underrated, that weekend, last weekend is like underrated and a lot of people appreciate it. So,
absolutely. Yeah.
We've had action through the weekend, but it's already ramping it up. And I think it's just only going to continue to grow, especially tomorrow. I think it's going to be I'm really excited for it. I think it's going to be busy.
Yeah, and I know people don't think about this time of year, but you can also bet NIT as well at Potawatomi. Those games are happening. Well, they happened last night and tonight as well, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, all the tournaments. I don't even know what all tournaments are going on this year. I get kind of hyper focused on the big
the one that matters. But, yeah.
Well, I think there's a CBI again, although there was some controversy about that, I think. But listen, they're going to be playing somewhere.
I think you might be the only one watching the NIT. I hate to tell you, I think you're the only one watching North Alabama and Bradley.
See, now I disagree because I think, and maybe you can back me up, Justin. I think if there are games up, people will want to bet on them, and people are going to be wanting to bet NIT games.
This is just another thing to add to the parlay if that's what you're looking for. I mean, obviously it pales compared to the tournament games. That's where where the majority of it is. But no, Armin, you're right. Like if it's up there, people are going to find it and have fun with it.
That's interesting. And listen, as somebody that needs something on a parlay to actually hit, maybe I do go NIT, and that becomes a little bit more successful endeavor here with us on the parlay of the day. This is one of the best times to be in a book. Now, Justin, we talk about it a lot. Vegas guy, you're talking to Vegas lovers. What you guys have brought to the city of Milwaukee, Las Vegas style sportsbook, better than many of the sports books that are in Las Vegas.
Indeed.
This is always a week that people would flock there. What's one of your main, tells and sells to people that are thinking about getting here, thinking about trying it, have heard everybody talk about how great a sports book is for one of these days of the tournament? Well, what's your sell to people that have maybe heard all the noise about it, but are hesitant to jump in and go there either tomorrow or Friday?
Man, to me, it's all about the energy, right? Like just the crowd, like maybe you're watching one game, you hear everyone erupt. Like in the other game, there was a buzzer beater or something. And, I don't know, just, you can't, the buzz is the best thing. And I'm really hopeful that, we recreate, what I've known and loved from Vegas. And, I'm optimistic. We had a lot of interest as soon as we put those seats up for reservation. They started selling out. So I think there might be a couple left and a few slots on maybe Sunday and stuff. But, so I think the people are going to be there. I think that energy is going to be right up there. You just can't. Yeah, it's the best thing in sports.
Yeah, and obviously, I know you guys expect to overflow crowds. There's going to be a lot of energy and interest in these games, but it's not just the book. You guys have that annex as well. You also have the kiosks by the Skywalk. So a lot of chances to get your bets in, even if you can't stay and watch, right?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, so we got the main book, we got the kiosk, and then we also Rock and Brews, just like we did last year.
Great point.
We have a lot of TVs up there, so all the viewing options that you need. But just the energy for me. I think I might find if I were not working here, I might find my way to the sports book and crowd in behind the bar and just enjoy that atmosphere.
That's why I love you, Justin. You have the DNA of a real sports book fan and a real sports fan. That's why we love you. That's because we can feel the energy and the excitement. Is it hard for you to sleep before nights like this, like it is for a lot of sports fans? Just knowing the type of days it's going to be on Thursday and Friday, it's got to be hard.
You do get excited and thinking about it, but I've gotten a little long in the tooth, man. I get my beauty sleep in when I can. When I hit the pillow, I'm out. So so maybe not for me that much, but the point is well taken. Yeah, I do get excited for it.
It's pretty awesome. Paysbig.com/sportsbook. Potawatomi.com/sportsbook is also how you can find links to the reservations and everything that you have there. They have a 4-step plan, how to play. 1, pick your wagers. 2, place your bets. 3, get your ticket and watch. 4, collect your winnings. It can be that easy.
Just pick your winners, actually. Not pick your winners, because that's what you have to do. It's that easy. Just make all your threes. Just pick all the winners, right?
One of these times I can actually just pick all the winners in the parlay of the day. It'll feel a whole lot better. All right, since we have Justin Arnett, Vice President of Digital Gaming, on for the Potawatomi Sportsbook Parlay of the Day, let's hit that bad boy and let's see if we can finally rub off on some of the behind-the-book magic to cash one of these sons of guns.
Let's go.
Time now for Billy's Parlay of the Day, brought to you by Potawatomi Sportsbook. Bet above the rest.
Justin, just to add to the nightmare fuel that it's been here for your boy on the Parlay of the Day, decided that for the first game of the Major League Baseball regular season, you had to put a Parlay of the Day in on Cubs-Dodgers, right? Had to be Dodgers money line over 7.5 runs, Shohei Ohtani over 1.5 total bases, right? Well, that is the play of the day for game 1. Misses game 1, obviously hits game 2. So we're right there. You got to love all of the people that do justify how close their parlays were to hitting. Do you ever just sit there and bust out the world's smallest violin, or will you actually feel some sympathy for those losers?
The vast majority of the time, I'm pretty direct that I don't care. I've heard much worse. If it's a real good story, I mean, there are some that really, the stories you hear over the years, and some of them you really feel like own goals in hockey, or maybe the worst I ever heard was a guy had, I think, +9 in an Arizona State college football game, and he made it to OT. And, the other team, I think, scored, and then they threw a pick 6, so he lost by 12.
That's brutal.
Like that.
But it's got to be...
If you get to OT with +9 and lose, that is pretty tough.
But it's got to be pretty extreme. I feel like you've been desensitized over the time where everything probably feels like someone telling you about their fantasy team. And it's like, I don't want to hear about this anymore. I can't think of anything less I want to hear. So you gotta come to just with a really, really good story. I think that's the moral of the story here.
Yeah, that's pretty much it. Like, look, we all get disappointed. I don't mind hearing it, but when you're like crying me a river over, like, you simply just didn't win one of the bets. Like, okay,
I'm sorry, you lost.
Take your lumps like the rest of us.
Exactly. Right.
Yeah, suck it up, Buttercup. Life's tough. Get a helmet.
We've all been through it.
We've all been through it. Right. All right. Parlay of the day at the Potawatomi Sportsbook. Bet big, bet bold, bet above the rest. Overs yesterday in the NCAA tournament 2-0. Correction towards the mean potentially starts with a 16 versus 16. Mount St. Mary's and American. If you've watched American or Mount St. Mary's this year, good for you.
Thank you. Appreciate that. Yeah.
Congratulations.
I've watched them.
You are one of 17 individuals outside of their families that have been able to watch them, or wives and girlfriends. You can say wives because these guys are so old playing college basketball nowadays. Under 129. Sleepy start in Dayton, day number 2. I
love that, Billy.
Under 129, game 1 of today's doubleheader for the first 4.
The other reason I love that, Billy, is I think it's going to be a tight game, and you have two teams with a chance to actually win a tournament game. They're going to slow this thing down. They're going to get tight. They're going to miss some free throws. Yeah, I think this is going to be one of those where you might get the under on.
A team that you watched quite a bit in the Big East this year, Xavier, gave Marquette some absolute fits. They take on Texas coming up here later on tonight. They're -160 on the money line, laying 3. Parlay of the day has X going to give it to you on the money line, -160, a part of the parlay of the day against Texas.
Yeah, I think this is going to be a closer one. I was kind of surprised it was a 3-point spread. Xavier had a big run to end the year. Obviously lost the close one to Marquette in the Big East tournament, or else they would have won 8 in a row. Who knows? So this should be an interesting one, Billy. All right.
Let me get Ryan Conwell on the phone and have him channel what he was doing against Marquette.
Sure, he went nuts that game.
Just absolute nuclear night against Marquette. Bring that tonight at the first 4 and have us 2 legs down in the parlay of the day. And the final one goes, Ball Arena is where the Badgers are playing coming up tomorrow.
Yeah.
Well, the main tenants of that building are the Denver Nuggets and the Colorado Avalanche. They're both homeless this weekend, right? Because they cannot be playing home games. NCAA tournament is there. We're going to fade the team that's homeless. Let's go Maple Leafs +104 on the money line going up against those Colorado Avalanche north of the border on the ice later on here tonight. How about that to juice up the odds to +540 at the Potawatomi Sportsbook, Harmon?
Not bad. I like it. And you got to be loving it, Justin, because I think you're just smiling there where you're ready to collect.
Knowing these are wins. Knowing this is a win for him.
Yeah, well, I'm a Texas fan. Regardless of my playing games, I am pulling for my Longhorns. So,
I didn't know you were.
Oh, this might change things. There we go.
Horns. I didn't know you were a Texas guy. Okay, I didn't know you were a big fan.
A little bit, yeah. I wouldn't say I'm a big fan. More college football, but
sure.
No, I definitely cheer for them. Yeah.
Well, hold on.
Emotional hedge though, right? Like I do.
Yeah.
You betting Xavier.
Great point.
That's an Armin move right there. So
I don't know. I think that means that we're taking Texas.
You're switching this thing up.
I think we're changing this thing up.
You can do it. You didn't.
We're calling the audible. We're calling the audible. Dave Gasper hasn't put it up on the ticker yet. He just may have. Under 129, Mount St. Mary's against American.
There you go. It's off. Switch it up.
Toronto Maple Leafs money line against the Colorado Avalanche. And we're taking Justin Arnett's Texas Longhorns tonight against the Xavier Musketeers. Justin, we can't get any worse at this, all right? So don't feel like this is an issue for you. That we can't get any worse than we've been at this. I've got 2 out of 3 most of the time. So actually, this probably hits. And now +820, you're upset that you allowed us to call this audible. This might actually rake you guys over the coals.
Or the change costs you the win, and I'm not invited back. That's the other option.
You're always invited back.
You never know.
Hey, I gotta
Hey,
ask
as long
you.
as we can see you this weekend, you're always invited back. Come
I gotta ask you before we let you go. Like, this is the time of year where everyone has their quote unquote system play that can't
Your
miss.
favorite part, the system plays.
You know,
yeah.
some guys have their all underdog money line on the tournament first round, or all favorites that win. What's like? I'm sure these are all funny to you. Have you ever heard anything like that, or do you like any of these system plays?
I've definitely seen that before. One that I kind of tend to do whenever there's an extreme, and you guys kind of did it right here, where you have a pretty low total, 129. If it's a really low total, I tend to go under. If it's a really high total, I tend to go over.
Interesting.
So,
That's what I'm
it's
talking
an
about.
Extreme for a reason.
Yeah.
I do that in baseball with pitchers, but
That's a smart move.
That's a smart system.
It's smart. It's sort of, I think, to some
I'm in
people,
love with that idea.
Well, it's counterintuitive to some people because you see a low number and you're like, oh, that's going to hit over
Gotta
for
pounce,
sure.
yeah.
But there's a reason for it, and obviously the trend might be there. That's a very
Like they
interesting
say,
one.
someone knows something,
Right.
and I want to be with somebody.
And how about Justin giving us a little tip there? I like that.
That's why we go behind the book
That's
with
right,
Justin
baby.
Arnett, VP of Digital Gaming at the Potawatomi Sportsbook. Bet big, bet bold, bet above the rest, and make sure you hit potawatomi.com/sportsbook to be able to hit that bet builder, get your tickets and your plays put together like I have on the parlay of the day. Walk right up, hit that kiosk with the QR code, and boom, your ticket is right there. Justin, cannot thank you guys enough. Always appreciate the time. Always appreciate the insight. And we'll see you down there this weekend for one of the best weekends in a book all year long.
likewise, man, I'm really looking forward to hanging out with you guys.
Appreciate it, man. We'll see you this weekend. That's Justin Arnett, VP of Digital Gaming at the Potawatomi Sportsbook. Go and visit them coming up this weekend. And again, go check out potawatomi.com/sportsbook to be able to see what spots are still available right now.
Exactly.
Grab those tables and hit the reservations. Had people ask me, like, you think I could just go that day and grab the reservation? I'm like, I would do it now.
Probably got to do it now. Yeah.
If you thought that it might be too late, it might already. But it's never too late if you go right now today. Potawatomi.com/sportsbook. Check it out and see what day at the tournament you can grab one of those spots for a session, which is a 2-game set, right? So it's like 5-6 hour time. You're hanging out in the book. Fantastic time. Great place to watch games. And go and check them out later on here today, tomorrow, the next day, and the next day, and the next day at the Potawatomi Sportsbook. We are No BS. That's Armin Sari, and I'm Billy Schmidt. Dave Gasper produces. And as the North Carolina Tar Heels made a statement last night, West Virginia thought that they should have been in that spot. Their coach said, can't get in. I'm going to get out while the getting's good. He heads to Indiana. We'll talk about that one on the other side, as well as two parts of the Packers conversation with their signing of Mecole Hardman yesterday that I wanted to bring back, and one position group that was not added to in free agency, might not be added to in the draft process, but you should expect an additional contribution. That coming up. It's No BS on the Game.
Football fans, get ready for an unforgettable NFL draft experience in the Discover Green Bay 2025 Draft Sweepstakes. Find out more about the 2025 draft in Green Bay and enter to win at greenbay.com/sweeps. March. It comes in like a lion, and it ends with the return of the Brewers. Technically, that's not the expression, but that's what's happening. Then, somewhere in the middle, the least productive time in the history of the American workforce.
Are you talking about March Madness?
He hit a 40-footer to win it.
Yes, exactly.
Home stretch for the NBA regular season, too.
Don't miss a moment on 97.3 The Game.
The home of the Packers. At your fingertips on the free iHeartRadio app.
Make us a preset.
Hey guys, Billy Schmidt here to tell you about Milwaukee Weight Loss and how their doctor-developed, easy-to-follow weight loss program can help you lose weight fast, naturally, safely, and easily without the use of drugs or injections with the risk of serious side effects, and no prepackaged meal program, no bars and shakes, and no exercise even required. They know the secret to losing up to 1 pound of fat every day. And if they know the secret, why not listen? Plus, their program helps you reset your metabolism so you can keep the weight off for good, and their coaches are there for ongoing support. And the best part, their program costs up to half as much and works up to twice as fast as most other programs that you've heard of. Many patients lose 20 to 30 pounds in the first month or two. That's what I did over a year ago, and it's one of the best decisions I ever made. So go to MilwaukeeWeightLoss.com today and schedule your free consultation, or give them a call at 262-433-4883. 4008. That's 262-433-4008, or visit them online at MilwaukeeWeightLoss.com. That's MilwaukeeWeightLoss.com. And when you sign up, make sure you tell them they heard about it on the game and that Billy Schmidt sent you. Results may vary.
I'm defense attorney Tom Grieve. If you drive drunk, you will be pulled over and you will be arrested. You cannot talk your way out of a DUI, but you can keep your mouth shut for your best defense. Call my team of award-winning former state prosecutors. You are only guilty if you are convicted. GrieveLaw.com.
I want them gummy squares. I want them gummy squares. I want some sleepy with no more anxiety. I need them gummy squares. I need them gummy squares. I need my wife to find her happy place really soon. We have Delta 8 CBD and new Delta 9s. Go to happyplacehemp.com.
Happyplacehemp.com. 25% off with promo code DrewKB. Happyplacehemp.com.
Prescriptions require an online consultation with a healthcare provider who will determine if appropriate. Restrictions apply. See website for details and important safety information. Price varies based on product and subscription plan.
Hey guys, let's talk ED because millions of men experience it, but not everyone can access or afford treatments like Viagra. Hims can help. Through Hims.com, you can access a full range of treatment options for ED through a 100% online process. To start your free online visit and save up to 95%, go to Hims.com/joy. HIMS.com/JOY.
They say seeing is believing. And when you see what's inside at American Place Casino, you better believe you're gonna love it. Because when it comes to amazing gaming, we're a real game changer. With the most exciting of table games like blackjack, craps, and roulette, the newest slots, a sports book, restaurants, bars, and more. So if you're ready for excitement, we'll see you soon. American Place Casino. Change the game.
Must be 21 years of age or older. If you or someone you know has a gambling problem, crisis counseling and referral services can be accessed by calling 1-800-GAMBLER, 1-800-426-2537.
Welcome to AT&T. How can I help?
Hey, I thought I could trust my twins with my phone, but they outnumber me, man.
Whoa, that's a lot of glitter paint. Let's trade
lives.
At AT&T, everyone can trade in an old or glittered iPhone any year, any condition, and save on a new iPhone. Ask how to get iPhone 16 Pro on us. New and existing customers. Savings vary by device and trade-in combinations. Restrictions apply. See att.com for details. AT&T. Connecting changes everything.
Find what you love what you find. A Total Wine and More. There's so much waiting for you. Spirits and beer, thousands of wines, guides in the know, and prices so low, it just might blow your mind. You're gonna find what you love and love what you find.
With curbside pickup and delivery available, you'll always find what you love only at Total Wine and More.
Drink responsibly. B21.
I had the worst dream last night. You were in a car crash and the kids and I were on our own. We had to move out of the house because I couldn't afford it anymore.
It's awful, huh?
My brother got life insurance from Ethos and it only took 10 minutes. And he got $2 million in coverage for around $2 a day. It's all online. No medical exam. He just answered a few health questions right from his house.
Ethos, here we come.
Visit ethos.com/sports. Ethos.com/sports.
Sample rate is a 10-year term life policy for 35-year-old healthy, non-smoking male. Billed monthly.
Did you know that every 65 seconds, someone in the U.S. is developing Alzheimer's disease and 1 in 3 seniors are dying of it or another dementia? University of Wisconsin-Madison researchers are trying to improve the lives of people affected with innovative treatments, early diagnosis, and comprehensive support for families and caregivers. Together, we can improve lives and build a future with Alzheimer's disease in Wisconsin and beyond. Visit goalsforacure.org.
97.3 The Game.
Don't you dare look back, just keep your eyes on me. I said you're holding back. She said shut up.
No BS on the game. Billy and Sarian with you. Thanks for hanging out with us each and every day. You got a lot of options, especially during this time of the day. And it is not missed on us that you have decided to venture through your workday with Armin Sarian and Billy Schmidt, and we could not be more thankful for it. In the midst of it, Armin, we were talking earlier on Mecole Hardman into the Green Bay Packers. Let's go.
Really excited about this. Yeah.
Massive 12 catches last year. 12 catches last year.
Ladies and gentlemen, we got him.
In 12 games. That's not a positive stat.
Well, no, but you have to like
has
anything
not
else
played
have context.
17 games since 2021. That's also not a positive stat.
That one's tough. That's not good. Availability is important,
caught the game-winning touchdown in a Super Bowl.
That's a good thing.
That's a positive note.
Maybe he can do that again this year for the Packers.
Has been around championship teams. That might be a positive on here. Like you're looking at a depth piece and a move that, again, I think this says much more about what is going to happen on the outside at the cornerback spot than maybe it does on the offense. So will they try to find ways for Mecole Hardman to be a part of the offense? I believe so, especially if he's on the football team for the entire regular season, right?
Sure.
But I think this speaks more to Keyshawn Nixon is going to play corner. I don't know that he's going to be the punt and kick returner or the kick returner. I don't think Jaden Reed is going to be returning punts maybe anymore. He's going to be focused solely on his wide receiver duties. And you could do a lot worse than Mecole Hardman as your punt or kick returner. He's had some very, very good solid years. Now he's far removed from when he was a rookie being a second team All-Pro and a Pro Bowler at that spot. But he's still got insane wheels. Hopefully can recapture some of it. I think what I've been looking more at, and when we talked with Wayne Larrivee in the first hour, he mentioned Aaron Banks plays more to the style of what the Packers want to do, more in-your-face zone running game, inside running game. And I think they're going to double down on what you saw last year of being much more of a power run football team. That's where the addition, not of anybody on the outside, but maybe Marshawn Lloyd might be the one that we notice even more this year, Armin, than you would have anticipated. 3rd round pick a year ago, basic redshirt year. I think he had 2 carries maybe in that Colts game, the one on the outside. And then he has a hamstring issue multiple times this year with soft tissue injuries. Just had a snake bitten rookie campaign, was unable to be on the field at all. He is super talented. A different type of back than they have on the roster. I think Emmanuel Wilson, a little similar to Josh Jacobs, not as dynamic, not as explosive, not as powerful, but
a banger.
Similar style.
Yeah.
Marshawn Lloyd's a different change of pace back. He will fit very, very well into how they want to run the football. And I'm very excited to see that young man on the football
That's a
team.
good
Because I think
point.
that playmaking style might be, it's not what you want. The improvement from within is not what you want at this time of the year. You want to go and buy more stats. You want to go buy more yards, buy more touchdowns. They did in 24 think he was going to be a factor. I think they're counting on him in 2025 to be a piece of this offense that you're kind of just forgetting about because he was MIA last year.
Right. Yeah, that's the reality of how the Packers are going to have to win and improve is within. And you're right, Billy. That's a good one that it's easy to forget about. He actually had 6 carries in that game, which is a surprise to me. I don't remember all 6.
Didn't feel like it. No,
it felt like more like 2. And a guy I was really excited about all summer. I remember when the Packers got him, I was like, man, this guy can make a difference. Feels like a guy that can work his way in. Unfortunately, like you said, couldn't stay healthy. It was super frustrating, I'm sure, for him as much as it was for the organization and Packers fans. Hopefully that's the bugaboo we can get out of this year. Stay healthy, be available first, and then we'll see what he can do talent-wise. I believe this guy's talented as well, Billy. I think if you get him on the field and stay healthy, he might be a guy that could really help your team this year, and that's change of pace back. You're right. If this is the way the Packers are going, and you saw that a lot last year, obviously, a power run team, lean into that. Marshawn Lloyd could be a big factor. I was so frustrated last year when he was hurt because I really wanted to see him. And I believe this guy could be good. So that would be a nice, I think it's not a guy that people are thinking about right now.
Yeah.
Not obviously not a guy people are counting on in their head, but that would be a nice addition or at least additive, a surprise, one of those bonuses that you don't think about if he was the guy that could, stay healthy and perform that way next year.
Him and Musgrave have the need to have a big jump right now. Luke Musgrave going into year 3. Very important for him, right? Like as much as we've talked about Lucas Van Ness and focused on that part of the 2023 draft class that has not produced at this level yet. Musgrave has had more moments, right? He's got the touchdown against the Cowboys, big touchdown against the Rams up the seam in his rookie year, but he's been marred by injuries. He's struggled in that spot as well. I just think there's different parts of this offense that we haven't necessarily seen. We will see parts of it. Again, they're not going to be drastically X's and O's different than they've been in the past. I just think they're going to be very physical and want to lean into what they were at the back half of the year last year, kind of what they were at the back half of 2023. Now, the play action game did disappear. There was a lot less of that. I know Matt LaFleur was very investigative his final season-ending press conference of, I'm gonna get down to brass
Deep
tacks.
dive. We're gonna
I'm gonna dive into how they're quantifying all these play fakes.
That's right. That
What
was a big
actually is
thing.
play action?
That was a big thing for him. What is really
What are
play
we
action?
defining as
What
play
are we
action?
defining as play action? Right. He didn't like
He's
that.
going to get the answers.
Yeah.
And he might answer more questions because of it. And that was one of the best things that Jordan was able to do in the back half of his rookie or his first year starting. I do think some of that was taken, maybe not fully out of the playbook, but put onto the back burner when you're just not able to practice it with him hurt.
Good point.
With the timing and rhythm and even him missing, the first week and a half of camp, like all of those things maybe put the timing based parts of the run and pass game a little bit more onto the back burner. In 2025 comes to the forefront. You're going to need to see a little bit more of that. And I think you're going to see a lot of Marshawn Lloyd. And also hopefully a lot more Luke Musgrave if he's on the field.
And in theory, that should work well. If you're a good running team, you should be able to succeed in play action. So that's one. And Luke Musgrave as well, Billy, we talk so much about vertical threats. He was a guy a lot of people thought of as a guy that could be that vertical threat from his position. It was taken out because of his injury mostly. But even when he come back, people were saying, well, maybe that's the vertical threat we can hope for. Maybe that's part of his game next year as well, Billy. Remember, rookie year, he was a guy that over 10 yards a catch in his rookie year. The guy that can make those type of vertical routes work.
Derek and Whitewater, do you guys think they'll draft Sanders if he falls to him? I have a feeling they will. If he's talking about Shedeur Sanders, there's no chance.
No, I don't think.
I do think Shedeur Sanders will fall to them. Like, it does appear that he is kind of sliding down more and more boards than people had anticipated at one particular point in time. But this is early in the draft process. A very good chance he ends up going 2, right? Like the way quarterbacks go in this board. I saw Daniel Jeremiah, I think it was the most recent one that I was looking at, or pardon me, I think it was Mel Kiper at ESPN, had Jackson Dart going in the top 10.
Quarterbacks are always at a premium. We know that. And most often we're surprised by how
there's going to be a lot of surprises. At this point in time last year, Bo Nix was not a first round pick. He ended up as the 12th overall selection. So, like, there's a lot of guys that you don't anticipate being in this grouping, and it was Kiper. Jackson Dart, 9 to the New Orleans Saints as his surprise pick.
You know what? Maybe if the Gutekunst thing with and Ted would do this, if there's value there at that important position and it's there, it's possible. I'd be shocked if it happened. But listen, I've been shocked before. So who knows, Derek? Maybe you'll end up being right somehow. I have no idea. It's hard to predict these things. I doubt it'll happen, though.
Yeah, if you're worried about that, I wouldn't be.
I'm not worried.
I would not be worried about that one. I like Ted the 9-2. Who's this Mel Kiper guy anyway? He doesn't have season tickets.
Bill Tobin forever, man.
Who's Mel Kiper?
The guy knows as much as my postman. And as far as I know, he's never been involved in a team. He's never coached,
I like that we got a couple of Tobin family drops in here. We talked about Duke earlier on with Wayne, right. GM now, decision maker for the Cincinnati Bengals, Bill Tobin. Oh, great work. 877-794-1973. We're going to hand it off to the Mike Heller Show coming up in about 20 minutes from right now. Very excited to discuss one of the rule changes that's popping up potentially, proposals potentially in the NFL. And it's by an NFC North team with Mike Heller coming up at the top of the hour. They are going to have Billy Edwards Jr., quarterback for your Wisconsin Badgers, joining at 1:20. And on the other side, West Virginia lost on Selection Sunday. Looks like they lost in the courtroom. Just lost their head coach. The reason why? Not surprising. We'll talk about it on the other side. It's no BS. Billy and Sarian on the game.
A backless dress and some beat-up sneaks. My discotheque.
Football fans, get ready for an unforgettable NFL draft experience in the Discover Green Bay 2025 Draft Sweepstakes. Find out more about the 2025 draft in Green Bay and enter to win at greenbay.com/sweeps.
Listeners are always asking me about QC Kinetics treatments. They want to know if they should consider it for their joint pain. If you're wondering if you are a good candidate, let's see how you answer these questions. First, is your quality of life impacted by the chronic pain in your knees, hips, shoulder, or other joints? You have trouble sleeping, walking, day in and day out movement? Next, do you want to avoid surgery and all of the pain, long recovery, and uncertainty that comes with it? And most importantly, do you miss doing things that you love because joint pain is consistently holding you back? Like walking, golfing, jogging. If you answered yes to any of these, I'd bet you're a great candidate. So don't wait. Call QC Kinetics right now and ask for a free consultation. Learn about these latest advancements in regenerative medicine and how they can get you lasting relief with no drugs, no surgery, and no downtime. Call QC Kinetics for a free consultation. Saturday appointments now available. It's 414-285-3474. That's 414-285-3474. QC Kinetics, 414-285-3474.
I'm Ryan Harrison, owner of Ryan Waterproofing. Sunshine warms, rain refreshes, wind braces us. Snow is exhilarating. There is only different kinds of good weather when your basement isn't cracked, bowing, with water seeping or rushing through it. Be forewarned. After Ryan Waterproofing restores your home, seals cracks, repairs walls, installs new drain tile or sump, you'll have to leave the basement to enjoy the weather. Because praying for drought is overrated. Ryan Waterproofing, callryan.com. That's callryon.com. Callryan.com.
Does your business need new garage doors? At Geis, we partner with CHI Overhead Doors to install top quality materials engineered by industry leaders to ensure that each of our commercial door installs are long-lasting and hassle-free. Call us to get a quote and schedule your new CHI Overhead Doors commercial installation. 262-784-4250 or online at geisstores.com.
Don't think twice.
For CHI Overhead Doors for your business.
IndyCar racing returns to the Milwaukee Mile at Wisconsin State Fair Park on August 23rd and 24th for the Snap-on Milwaukee Mile 250 weekend. Secure your seats in the grandstands for the best views of all the action. Plus, we've pulled out all the stops with incredible food and live entertainment in the epic free fan zone. Race tickets are on sale now at wistatefair.com. Get ready because IndyCar is back with the Snap-on Milwaukee Mile 250, August 23rd and 24th.
Save big money on your next outdoor project at Menards. Menards has the best in-stock selection of AC2 pressure-treated wood fencing, lumber, and decking. All easy to load in our convenient drive-through lumber yard. Plus, you can get free estimates fast with our fence and deck design programs in-store or on Menards.com. Don't forget to check out our weekly flyer for all the great deals happening now.
Save big money at Menards.
Josh from Infinity here. The roofing and exterior remodeling industry is notorious for painful, surprise hidden costs.
MJ here. We built Infinity with integrity, installing roof, siding, windows, and peace of mind.
Infinity's custom app eliminates costly, unpleasant roofing and exterior remodeling upcharges, showing in absolute transparency every detail of your project.
We pay less, you pay less.
Infinity provides multiple budget options, including financing immediately.
Warranted, guaranteed quality, installing peace of mind. InfinityRoofing.com.
Find what you love, love what you find. A Total Wine and More. There's so much waiting for you. Spirits and beer, thousands of wines. Guides in the know and prices so low, it just might blow your mind. You're gonna find what you love and love what you find.
With curbside pickup and delivery available, you'll always find what you love, only at Total Wine & More.
Drink responsibly, B21.
I had the worst dream last night. You were in a car crash and the kids and I were on our own. We had to move out of the house because I couldn't afford it anymore.
That's awful, hon.
My brother got life insurance from Ethos and it only took 10 minutes. And he got $2 million in coverage for around $2 a day. It's all online, no medical exam. He just answered a few health questions right from his house.
Ethos, here we come.
Visit ethos.com/sports. Ethos.com/sports.
Sample rate is a 10-year term life policy for 35-year-old healthy, non-smoking male. Billed monthly.
The Fox 6 weather experts are presented by AdventKnows.com.
Rain showers on the way for this morning with rain and thunderstorms likely this afternoon. Much stronger wind this evening as a wind advisory kicks in at 7 p.m. We'll start to transition to snow late evening and overnight tonight as we drop from the mid-40s into the upper 20s. I'm Fox 6 Chief Meteorologist Rob Haswell.
This report is sponsored by Jackson Hewitt. It matters who does your taxes. At Jackson Hewitt, expert tax prep is now $149 or less, but only for a limited time. Hurry, book your appointment at jacksonhewitt.com today. Terms at jacksonhewitt.com/49-149.
Blackwell inside, and he sends it down with the right hand.
The Badgers head west for a first-round matchup Thursday in Denver against Montana. Pre-game with Matt and Butchie at 11:30. Tip-off at 12:30. On your home for the Badgers in the NCAA tournament. 97.3 The Game.
No BS on the game. Handed off to the Mike Heller Show coming up in about 10 minutes from right now. Darren DeVries goes from West Virginia to Indiana. Armin, I know you're stunned by this coaching move that happened yesterday. The decision for young Darren sounded like it was a pretty easy one. Indiana spent the most money in NIL, and everybody yesterday throughout, like right after we got off the air at noon, I think this thing broke at 3-4 o'clock. Felt like it was kind of expected and gaining momentum throughout. When they dropped that, West Virginia spent $3 million on players this year. Indiana did $6 million on NIL deals for their players. That seemed like kind of a done deal.
Yeah, and what we're hearing is this guy's ready to throw the bag around. I don't know if it's worse for Iowa fans who thought they were going to probably get this guy. He's from Iowa, played at Northern Iowa, but the better job available in a cycle where there hasn't been a lot of great high majors available right now was Indiana, so they went and got their guy. Now, I did say yesterday another coaching cycle of unrequited pipe dreams for Indiana fans. That's not a commentary on what I think of Darren as a coach. I think he's a good coach, did some great things at Drake. He's somewhat unproven on the high major level, although I think he'll be a good coach in Indiana. But that's what I thought about Archie Miller too. So it's really hard to say. He did his thing at Drake. Now he has to try and do it in one of the toughest crucibles in college basketball, which is Bloomington and their fans and their expectations. But like you said, Billy, they are committing money.
You get
NIL. He's going to be able to swim in those waters. And from what I hear, he's good at it, willing to do it, and he's ready to do it, which is not something we bring it local that Shaka wants to do much of, at least.
Portal and just try to grab the best players for the biggest cash. Yep.
Yeah, so I will say this. What I was saying yesterday is it does feel like every time this happens, Indiana's like, it's time for us to get real and start making those big swings, and let's make our list. And their list is always Brad Stevens and Bill's, all the great coaches in college and pro basketball. And it's just not the way it's working for you these days. You're getting probably the best guy available right now. That's a high major coach. And that was,
and DeVries is a good coach, right? I mean, like he's had some good time. Like you're right. His numbers are kind of unproven, still at the highest of major levels. When you have now, this will be his third job in 3 years. You don't have a ton of time to be able to showcase that. But I think it's fascinating when people are as open about it. Like it's a pretty easy decision when one team's going to spend $3 million and one team's going to spend $6 million on players. I'm going to go at the place that I have the best chance to go and win it at.
Yeah.
Now, does their NCAA tournament snub play into it? Maybe, maybe not. You're right, though. The Iowa connection is the one that I thought of immediately. They already move on from Fran McCaffrey. They're like, sweet, we're just going to plug in Iowa guy. Apparently, their highest paid player was like $300,000.
The thing is,
it's going to be hard to compete when somebody's giving out, what was it, reportedly 1.2 to the big man from Arizona, Ballo, that they brought in there for Indiana this past year.
Yeah, they're spending money on guys. The other thing is, for coaches, you think about what their salary is going to be. Well, Indiana's going to spend more on their coach as well. So he's probably making more money than Indiana himself, which
that's for sure.
Which matters, obviously. And he's able to spend more so he can see that's the second part of that factor. It's like you, as a coach, when you're looking at new jobs, you're obviously thinking about what they're going to pay you, but you're thinking about what are my chances of success here? And if you're a coach and you're a competitor, you want that shot also to bring Indiana back to, the former glory. You can make yourself a legend if you do it right. That being said, I think Iowa was tough for them that Indiana opened at the same time they did. Because I think if Indiana doesn't open, they have a good shot at this guy if you're Iowa, right? Obviously, he'd be going back home. I'm sure he would have looked at that job and taken it probably if Indiana wasn't available. You put those two together, Indiana's available. Probably not a tough decision for him, knowing what he can spend in NIL, which is like the next factor now in what these coaches are going to be looking for is what will their resources be? Resources used to just be facilities, fan support, all that type of stuff. Now it's NIL money. So.
No, it's easy. It's simple. It's an easy question. What's the cash flow situation and how quickly can I access it and how much of it can I spend? And when it's easier, cut and dry like that, you get answers pretty quickly. 877-794-1973, NicolaLaw.com talking text line will remain open as we hand it off to the Mike Heller Show on the other side. Mike is standing by, ready to rock the rivers and shake the lakes, ready to get into what the Lions are pitching. Not only their defensive holding, illegal contact, no first down pitch, they have another rule change that I know Mike Heller is very, very excited for. There's a talking text line message that I want to get into when Mike Heller joins us on the other side. And what does he have queued up for new Badgers quarterback Billy Edwards Jr. coming up at 120? We'll set Mike Heller and Nick Brusewitz up for some success on the other side. Dave Gasper, successful day producing the program. Great job here today.
Way to go,
Armin,
Dave. Thank you.
Fantastic job.
Thank you, buddy. You too.
Get that your bracket done yet?
No, I gotta wait to see what happens. I don't fill out the brackets till the first four, the date rounds. Though. Yeah,
okay.
I'm not messing with that. No, I'll fill out my bracket tomorrow.
So Armin's got
Tomorrow
Xavier
morning.
going to the Sweet 16 potentially. Hopefully Texas because they're in the parlay
or
of the day.
American.
Yeah, well,
that's going to be a tight
just
one
under
tonight.
129. We can hit one of those parlays of the day.
Slow
It's
it down. Yep.
It's been no BS here on the game. We hand it off to the Mike Heller Show on the other side, right here on the game.
Painted on